Hello and welcome to episode 11 of year 8 of Edge of Empire, a Horus Heresy miniature tabletop battle game podcast. I thought we'd add some bits into the title just to make it slightly more specific. My name is Chris, and joining me this evening, as always, a man who is the physical embodiment of the Ghost of Christmas present from the Muppets Christmas Carol, Mr. Michael Botterill.
Oh my God!
I like that. Yeah, I'll take that one.
Totally are.
It absolutely is.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
I watched it the other day because as soon as January 1st rolls around, my wife is on to
January the
Christmas.
1st?
December 1st.
Say, you've got a long year of
a long year of Christmas. If she could, she would. But we've got to the point where December 1st is
the official
start of Christmas films. Yes.
Okay.
And I thought, hang on a minute, I recognise that chap in the robe walking with Michael Caine.
Oh yeah. Very good,
Mr. B.
What an absolute gem of a Christmas film that is, though.
It is an absolute beauty.
It's the best Christmas film ever.
I think it's up there. Absolutely, absolute classic. Okay.
And the voice you have just heard is a man who has, I know for a fact, spent the last 30 years trying to convince people he is the inspiration for the Salt and Pepper song, Just Push It.
That's correct.
Graham Mills.
I totally am. Absolutely.
Get up on this.
Get up on this. Well, there you go. I thought you were going to say, here's the living embodiment of Jacob Marley.
Well, I feel that'd be very harsh, but I thought I'd go slightly. One festive inspiration is enough for me. I feel.
Fair enough. So what are we doing then? Apart from
what are we doing?
Best Christmas films,
which we could easily fill an hour.
Yeah.
Right. Very briefly, we will look at the 3 new releases. We will have a look at the second worst legion in the entirety of the Heresy, and that is, of course, the Iron Warriors.
Oh, I think you've got the wrong show notes, because mine says the greatest legion ever to be used from the loins of the Emperor.
To definitely the nutsack in some way, yeah. Mr. B does cast specific notes. I don't know if you knew that or not.
I didn't know that.
Clearly.
I did not know that.
Clearly.
Okay, very good.
Cast specific ones.
Very good.
Yes, so we're going to look at that pile of trash. And then we'll look at the rules, wargear units as per usual. We'll each knock out a list for our list challenge for each of them. And we're going to finish on hopes and dreams and fears for 2025. I assume heresy related fears, and not generally.
Well,
where do
you
2025? Will we see the end of it?
2026 is the question.
That's the real.
Consider that a win if we get that far.
That's a hope, a dream, and a fear. One. That's
it's me. Wow.
We're going to get really into it. We're going to grind it down deep, and finish the year on a really high note of thermonuclear war, potentially, financial collapse, any of the things that could erupt.
It's all there.
At least we'll have our plastic to keep us warm.
We will.
To turn into oil and fabricate back into petrol.
Yeah. I mean, what with the Games Workshop now being in the FTSE 100, of course, this week, I believe.
Yeah.
Broke into.
Getting that.
So,
yeah, lovely.
I put that in the notes for 2025, so yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So.
All right, then.
Right, let's get things rolling.
So, new releases we have. What have we got then, Mr. B? What was caught your eye?
One new release, one release that's out of sale that was relevant there, and 3 interesting tools that we get. The first, and the only real one that we're going to discuss is the melee weapons upgrade set. We spoke about it, I think, last time we had it as a news show. It's £29. You're going to get it for £23.20. I believe Element Games actually might be a bit more expensive. $24.65. They have it cheap for the first week or so.
That's right, yeah.
And I mean, we already discussed this. This is a great sprue. You could make it a spoiler squad. You've got your thunder hammers. power axes, mauls, a selection of heads, underslung bolters, power lances. I don't think we've had a plastic power lance before, have we?
Not that I can remember.
Even in 40k, I can't remember.
They were all parts of existing kits, weren't they? So and the power lance is actually a pretty good weapon.
Yeah, absolutely.
So definitely worth it.
Auspex, augury scanners. So this is pretty good.
2 Thunderhammers though. I mean, it's a bit shy of what you need in this day and age.
Absolutely.
You know,
definitely. But you only get 2 power. We actually get 4 power fists, which is
but you already get a power fist on the standard sprue. So
that's right. Yeah, that's what I was about to say. It would have been better to have the things that you didn't have if you see.
Yeah. I think the only criticism I would have of this is no chain axe.
Yeah. Again, that would be great to have a load of chain axes.
Can you still
for a number of squads? Didn't Forge World used to do them? I don't think you can find. I've never been able to find them. I think it's third parties have sort of filled the gap a little bit.
I'm sure you used to be able to get a World Eaters kit.
You could get the whole World Eaters kit from.
I'm sure that.
And that did have.
Do they still? So they do have a chain axe kit, which comes with 5 chain axes and 5 bolt pistols, and it's 20 quid. But you don't have it's an upgrade for the spoiler kit from the old days.
Yeah.
So you're going to have to get the melee kit to get the arms without hands. Yeah. So
I see what you mean. Yeah.
I think this is, if anyone's getting into the heresy or anyone's now, buy this kit. You're going to use a lot of this stuff. You're going to need it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's worth it. Definitely.
I just remember the old days of random upgrade kits for single units.
When
I was a boy.
Yeah, anyway. But you could go and buy chain axes back in the day, couldn't you?
Yeah.
But that was predicated on the fact that the models themselves didn't have the hands on them.
No,
so you could just attach. But
yeah. Of course, it's at the point now where I'm like, for list challenges, it might be good to next year assume you already have this kit, unless you're buying it specifically to upgrade a whole to spoiler squad or something.
Yeah, I mean, I think maybe as we talked about, there should be a sort of upgrades tax that we just apply to each thing, because you got to probably whatever list we put together.
Yeah, because
it very rarely comes down to £10 difference.
Yeah, if someone was to start Heresy today, I would say get your Age of Darkness box set, get this one as well. You need it.
Yeah,
you will need it. You want it. You want that variety, because the actual upgrades for on the Legions only comes with a bolt pistol, a plasma pistol, and a power sword, and a lightning claw / power fist. You want more options for your sergeant.
You used to be able to get a Phobos chain axe set.
That's right, yeah.
You can still get it, it's just temporarily out of stock.
Yeah, we know what that means when it comes to resin.
Yeah, never to be seen again. Anyway, moving on.
Yeah, moving on. So that's the key. Great set. Go buy it. We also get the return of the apocalyptic templates. These have been missing for a while. They are needed for some stuff. Apocalyptic blast marker, barrage marker, hellstorm marker, 7 quid each. You're going to need them.
Are you though?
I would argue, Mr. B. If
you have a unit that uses them, you will be. Sorry,
I don't think I've used a template in 4 years.
I
haven't played an army that have needed a template for at least.
I think I need the big one for my Warhound, the hellstorm marker. Well, we've seen the Malcador Infernus. You're going to want that for that, if you're going to take it.
Yeah.
If you've got a unit that needs it, you need this. And if it's not available for sale, you're kind of in a problem. So.
Yeah, I'm with you. I've never seen anything anything that uses the barrage marker. It's the big times, isn't it?
Yeah.
I remember them being particularly effective on the.
Yeah, it's a case of.
Yeah, it might be this edition. Yeah.
I have them in my box just in case I need them.
I've got the apocalyptic blast marker from back in the day, but I've never had to use the other two.
I've got the blue ones, which sort of are in halves.
Oh yeah, I remember those. No, I've got the same as that one, that kind of clear plastic one. So anyway, they're back. They're back.
And then last release. I'm mentioning it. It's not available for sale anymore. It came on sale. It went out of stock immediately because it's such good value. The Imperial Knight Battle Force, the Valor Strike Lance, 150 quid. It had a Questoris Knight and 4 armigers. Really good value. Really cool. What came?
I mean, how much is the Questoris Knight on its own? 90 quid?
Questoris Knight is about 100 quid. 110 quid.
Exactly, if you like.
I'm just having a look. It is £110.
Wow. So
yeah, you're paying £10.
£10 for an armature. I mean, they're not cheap either. They were like 30, 40 quid each.
That said, I believe
armatures are £57.50 for 2.
Biggie.
That said, as I understand it, this particular kit only came with 3 of the of the 5 or 6 sprues they have in the Imperial Knights. You could only build a paladin or an errant.
Okay.
But
which one's the errant?
The errant's got the melter cannon.
Oh yeah, I see what you mean.
You've got the melter cannon, you've got the battle cannon, but
you couldn't make a
gallant or a castellet
or a gallant, as we used to.
Gallant, yeah. To be fair, both those weapons are not bad choices, so it's not terrible. But anyway, okay. Cool. So shall we move on and talk about those bitter Iron Warriors?
Go on then.
Iron Warriors.
Okay, so hold on. So a long and storied history with Iron Warriors.
Yeah.
Why would you want to play them?
Yes, a question I've often asked.
Why would you want to play the Iron
Warriors? I mean, rules aside. I mean, not obviously for rules is one thing because they got good rules because they have got good rules. What sort of person do you think would get the
someone who's got a rattle can of lead belcher and just thinks, I don't like those models. I'm going to spray those lead belcher and make an Iron Warrior army.
Isn't it the same for
no?
Wait a minute, how's your Retributor Gold spray coming along?
Absolutely fine.
Why would I play Iron Warriors?
Because you don't think you're up to playing Imperial Fist yet, and you want to take an easier ride?
Narratively.
Before honestly, you elevate yourself to a higher standard?
Okay. Honestly, they are probably the best anti-armor legion in the game.
Anti-armor, I'll say, yeah. I mean, we weren't going to talk about the rules. We're going to come on to the rules.
Yeah, I think that's why. That's why you might want to play it. That's why you want to play it.
What drew you to, soulless silver and hazard strike armors?
I like their the tragedy behind them. I think because I also think that they're out of all of the Chaos Legions, for want of a better word. And I think that's why they're probably used as the bad guys quite a lot. They're the most sane of the bad guys, if that makes any sense. Because if you've got the World Eaters, they're just going to go off and or the Emperor's Children, they're going to be off doing obscene things to one another. But they don't. That narratively, I think, makes them quite difficult. Whereas at least with the backstory of the Iron Warriors, you can kind of even if you are the Emperor's fanboy and you have a picture of the Emperor on your underpants, you still can appreciate that there was a certain amount of tragedy. Some of it obviously self-inflicted, and there was quite a bit of hubris. But you can see that they're kind of the underdog. I always felt a bit that their story was a tragic one. That it was only a set of circumstances that pushed them onto the wrong side of that divide. And I think I quite like their coolness. I think they are quite cool, in their appreciation of the art of war. But yeah, I just think that they're a sensible army that were a bit unfortunate. It could have gone either way, I think. I mean, it doesn't seem to me like a huge amount that would have pushed them into the Emperor's loving embrace rather than going the other way.
Yeah. In terms of if you're a fluff bunny, they probably got the most they're probably one of the Chaos Legions that have had the most books written featuring them.
I mean,
That's going back to to like 40k.
I mean, there's a
the
fantastic
Iron Warriors stories by Graham McNeil. The
first one's
Ultramarine
amazing.
stuff.
It's really good.
Yeah, all that Honsu stuff. You've got the Warmonger and all that stuff, and then you've got your Siege of Terror. They've got a lot of storied history to them, and in terms of painting, they can be very easy to look really good as well.
I think it's hard to make them look really good, if I'm honest.
Yeah, but they're supposed to look horrible, so hence you can make
them.
But
even then, I think that's one of the reasons why I haven't done them again in this edition, to be honest with you, is because you can paint them, but they're always going to look like you've rattle canned them. No matter how much effort you put in, they always kind of look like you've just, unless you're going non-metallic metals, which you wouldn't want to do on a full army, I would have thought.
I did dry brushing and contrast.
And yeah, I've done everything. I've usually just dry brush them, spray them, dry brush them, oil brush them. I paint the black on and the hazard stripes. They are an easy army to get up to speed really quickly with, I think.
I went totally black, dry brush them silver, and then use contrasts to add colour, and then again use the contrast to really make them look mucky and oily.
But they are quite, they lack a little bit of, I mean, you can't really do a lot with them, I don't think. But anyway, I'm not a great painter, so that's just me. But
I know you're getting pretty good.
There's something said to be about painting, like the marine, ultramarine blue, which can be quite from one end of a spectrum to the other, effectively. Yeah. Whereas, Iron Warriors are going to be, they're going to be iron, basically, with some hazard stripes. But I think as a beginner's army as well, they've got a story, and they've got like I say, there is a lot of stuff written about them. And again, I think the reason why they're so prevalent narratively is because they make sense as a baddie. Yeah. They can make sensible decisions about what they're doing, whereas the others, like if you put Angron in charge, it's going to be, what do you want to do today, Angron? Okay, mate, off we go. Well, you ask, old lizard nuts what he wants to do, and he's like, well, I don't care as long as I get a bit of a rush from it, right? So they become a bit of a sort of parody of themselves.
Lizard nuts.
Should we get into some rules then?
Hang on a minute.
Yeah.
Which one is
Emperor's Children's head champion? Fulgrim. So he tried to screw over Peter Arbo.
Fulgrim's pretty much tried to screw over everyone at some point or another.
Yeah, true enough.
Yeah.
The Trixies to pull the Trixies.
Yeah, that is true. But anyway, I think they're a good. They have
lizard nuts.
Lizard nuts. I like
they call him.
Yeah, I like their backstory. It appealed to me. The underdogs. If you, particularly if you don't want to just toe the line and play the good guys, there are some good bad guys.
Yeah, I like you say, they are the most grounded of the. Well, you say that Sons of Horus are pretty.
Yes, they are.
They're kind of, they're in that same kind of bracket, I would say. But
yeah,
Iron
definitely.
Warriors, I think they have. Also, I think the Iron Warriors have kind of a very much predetermined sort of set of criteria, if that makes sense. That's easy to get your head around.
Yeah.
To play them.
Cool. Okay. So let's go then. So, Mr. B, let's kick off then with what you lovely term the crunch.
Yeah. So
you haven't been to the crunch.
Should we start off with the lead?
It's outrageous.
Tony Harrison.
And what's it? Sabu.
Sabu. Yeah. Oh no, the kid. Oh, come on. Mighty Boosh Crunch.
Richard Ayoade.
Richard Ayoade.
Ayoade plays that. And then
he's Sabu. And then there's the kid who is a
erotic adventure
for the most devious kind.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't watched it yet,
I don't know whether it travels well.
I don't know. It probably doesn't, but it's certainly worth checking out. The Mighty
a lot of people don't enjoy it very much, but I think it's season 2's fantastic.
Try to get my nephew to give it a look. He's 18 and he just like, what on earth is this? Did you guys really watch this when you were younger? The little
I mean, the Milky Joe, when they get, I mean, it's just, I think it's comedy genius, but what do we know? But anyway, yeah, it's Tony Harris. Anyway,
Anyhow, you slag.
yeah, that's right.
Good idea.
The full
Shall I-
version of Tusk as Lindsay Buckingham intended. Okay. Anyway, sorry. Let's go.
Okay. Rack and ruin. That is their Legion trait. It's
Yes.
simple. It's devastating.
It is.
Plus
It
one.
is simple, isn't it?
It is really simple.
It's like one. It's like two sentences. Boom. There you go. Habit.
It is.
Back of the net.
It is +1 strength to all attacks targeting dreadnoughts, automata, vehicles, or buildings. It's the Iron Warriors way of basically saying, nice tank, shame if something happened to it.
A nice dreadnought. Shame if something happened to it. I mean,
But
it's fabulous track.
But it's a small boost, but you turn autocannons, which sort of, when it comes to anti-armor, they're sort of a strongly worded letter, and they start to look like genuine problems. Las cannons go from dangerous to let's just skip the roll, remove your tank right now.
Yeah.
And Nemesis bolters.
Flare shield? What flare shield?
Yeah. Nemesis bolters can theoretically penetrate a Land Raider. Odds are slim, but
making
it
them
could
strength
happen.
6. Yeah, strength
You
6 plus.
You could snipe the driver.
That'll give me
through the window.
12. And then actually, it's quite. If you roll a 6, you don't need to roll a 4.
Yeah.
3 or a 4, and you've got a glancing hit.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah. But I think it's a super useful thing. I mean,
it is.
It brings a lot of cool guns into. That extra 1+1 strength makes such a difference.
I've had tactical Marines glance a Rhino to death on the front.
Yeah.
You need a lot of dice.
But
not
enough
efficient.
dice will do it.
Yeah,
It's only
yeah.
4
Well,
hard points.
And crack grenades.
It's also
That's
in melee
strength.
as well. I didn't realise.
Yeah,
Today.
just any attack. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's strength.
Yeah.
Which is great. So a good counter if you're playing if you're doing a new Legion and your local gaming, somebody has discovered a Rights of the Ancients and is rocking around with 4 dreadnoughts, rock up with some Iron Warriors and show them who's who. Because they will make a mess of them. I think I was looking at the Predator cannon on the Predator.
Yeah.
Because I think that goes from strength 8 to strength 9, which makes it super. And there's quite a lot of shots.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's a simple but which you'd expect from the Iron Warriors. I mean, they're not renowned for their complexity in that regard, but boy, does it do a job.
Oh yeah.
And also for people like me, it's very easy to remember. It's not situational. It's like everything. +1 strength, tanks,
It is.
dreadnoughts, vehicles.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. But melee. When you mention melee, despoilers with heavy chainsaws are now going to take on a dreadnought. Melter bombs, strength 9, bit overkill.
Nice.
Thunder hammers will hit strength 9, brutal. So contemptors are going to get wounded on a 2+.
Yeah.
So
Nice.
And
3+ contemptors. Not contemptors, you're right. Contemptors 2. Leviathans 3. Because they're tough to say. Yeah.
obviously there are downsides to this because it doesn't impact infantry. If you're playing small games with fewer tanks and dreadnoughts or zone mortalis, it's
It's
not
a 0 downside.
it's not great. I like it.
I think it's one of those rules where, like Graham says, there isn't really a bad side. You're going to take those things anyway, the weapons anyway, to account for infantry as it is, and then you just get a little bit of a boost when you're up against something that you would otherwise struggle against.
In a game where shooting is king, which it is,
Yeah.
this basically puts you into the upper echelons of the European court.
Yeah,
You're no longer the king of Luxembourg or something. You're like, you're right up there.
King of Spain, you say?
Spain or something. Yeah. Huge empire behind you.
Last time I played Iron Warriors in this edition, I literally had a Land Raider pretty much taken out by bolters.
Melted
Wow.
on strength.
Oh yeah, sorry,
Strength 9, yeah.
It was rhinos. Sorry, not but it was kind of ridiculous, and it was just like that marine. The last marine was just like, look there, he was like, yeah, I did that.
Yeah, no, they've definitely got some business about them with that. So yeah, super useful Legion trait, effectively. So yeah, okay.
What about the advanced reaction then? Because this is a little bit more interesting.
I kind of quite like this one. Yeah, it's tricky because And I think there's some things that you can do to make it even more crazy than it already is. But yeah, ultimately, I think the long and the short of it is you get +1 shots when you return fire once. So one unit gets.
Yeah. So why don't you talk us through this, Chris?
Christ. Bit of Fury. The Iron Warriors one. Takes turn fire, does F11. Whenever you shoots at you, this reaction allows your unit to retaliate with double the shots. Do gets hot on those, but hey, look, 1s and 2s, they don't happen all the time. It's absolutely fine. So high risk reward, yes, absolutely. The doubling effect applies to weapons, not models.
Yeah.
So interactions like Fear of the Legion and Rapid Fire can be tricky. For example, a tactical marine with a bolter in rapid fire range using Fear of the Legion would fire 1 base shot, double to 2 for Bit of Fury, then gain 1 extra for rapid fire and another for Fear of the Legion.
Totaling 4 shots. So yeah, but if you're in rapid fire range, would get 1. So you get 2 to start with.
Yeah,
well, yeah, I've got that. So yeah, 4.
Yeah.
You're right, 4 shots.
Yeah.
But those would all be getting hot.
Yeah.
So yeah, go down in the blaze of glory.
So 1s and 2s.
Well, it's ones really. It's ones with those, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
But 4 shots from if you had a 10-man squad, that's what, 40 shots.
Yeah. And strength 8 AP free.
You're going to lose.
You're going to use a few folks.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I was thinking there about siege tyrants there.
Yeah.
Siege tyrants, but it's 40 strength 8 AP free.
Isn't it limited to certain weapon types though? So it's only it's limited to. Isn't it limited to assault, rapid fire, and heavy weapons?
Have a look for you, because I have it on my iPad to hand.
Sure, I read that. I could have.
Once the active players down here. Gets hot. Special rule. Killing weapons. Okay. May not hit them directly. Weapons of the brass special rule. Other weapon or special rule.
No.
Site and vehicles mainly 5 weapons.
No. I'm thinking of something else.
Weapons used as part of the Bit of Fury. Use the Wall of Death rule instead of firing on this. So that you're all good. Take your pick.
Cool.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I
super
mean,
useful.
One where I've seen it work very well is Contemptors with twin Volkites.
Yeah.
12 dice per gun.
Yeah.
Assault cannons would be good.
Yep.
On Contemptors. Just absolutely all sorts of bother. Anything multiple firing, really. That's always going to be fun.
Yeah. Even shrapnel bolts, to be honest.
Yeah.
I mean, you could, try and force some pinning there, which we'll come on to in a minute. But yeah, very cool. I think it's a good advanced reaction. Unlike some, I'm looking at you again, Sons of Horus. It's a good advanced reaction. It may be a kind of, okay, I'm gonna get charged, or I'm gonna get shot by a squad. It's probably gonna kill me. I'm gonna take these so and so's with me.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just las cannons. I'm just thinking,
20 shots of las cannons.
20 las cannon shots. Somebody shoots you with a tank stupidly. You go, well, I'll take the.
I mean, if someone shoots you with anything in that situation,
it's all over. Right?
Nothing's. Well, few things anyway are walking away from.
Yeah, and I mean
20 las cannon shots, because you'll double out almost everything.
Yeah, I mean, as Mr. B was saying, if you used Cognoscignum with that squad, for example, and they were something like Iron Havocs, they were Ballisteel 5, making them Ballisteel 6, and you rolled a 1, I think if you rolled a 6 after that, it hits. So you could, try and get. There's no kind of re-roll 1s, unfortunately, but you could try and limit it a little bit. But even so, it's a heck of a lot. Missiles, I mean, you are going to take some hits for sure, probably quite a few, but boy, you would, whatever it was that shot you would be gone.
You don't know about it. Absolutely.
Oh yeah. I mean, you're gonna overheat. I think I wrote here. I put in a joke. You'll overheat faster than a cheap laptop running Cyberpunk.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Absolutely. Quite likely. So yeah, the Tyrant of Lysatra is the one that I was thinking of with the extra shots as well. So yeah. Oof.
I when I play Iron Warriors, knowing that this reaction is there, I'm very. I want to trigger this as soon as possible and get it over and done with.
It's one of the best. It's one of the better advanced reactions out there, along with the Imperial Fists and Space Wolves and the World Eaters.
Yeah. It's
Okay.
It's one that makes me feel, it's one that I'd rather get out of the way with.
Yeah, I mean, you would try and bait your opponent to shoot a potentially lesser valuable unit, and that unit use this to completely annihilate the expensive unit that shot them. So yeah,
Right.
very cool.
Do you want to take our first Warlord trait then, Graham?
Yeah, sure. Now, all of the Warlord traits, when I read them, thought these all sound like nice places to go on holiday, apart from the fact that you are the tyrant there. So,
which
so
actually would make it the nice place to be, because you are the tyrant.
You are the tyrant.
You're
so
top of the food chain.
You can be the tyrant of Dodecathion, which I believe is off the road near Rhodes. Very nice in summer. Has dolphins.
Oh, well.
But if you come from that particular Greek village, this grants you an extra shooting phase reaction, continuing the Iron Warrior's trend of dominance in that phase, and brings one of the rare mechanics in Warhammer that actively manipulates battlefield terrain. After deployment, but before the units with Scout or Infiltrate use their rules, you can select one piece of terrain, a fortification or a building on the battlefield, and that piece of terrain immediately loses any cover saves it grants and becomes both difficult and dangerous terrain.
Oh,
so that's...
Which one are you talking about?
I'm sorry. I'm doing
He's doing the
okay.
one.
I'll do the first one.
We'll come back to that in a second.
Yeah,
that's okay.
But
yeah, it loses all its cover saves and becomes both difficult and dangerous terrain. So bear in mind that's basically after people have deployed, you can go, that unit that you set up in that lovely piece of terrain thinking you're going to get that cover save, you're not. And if you try and get out of it, you need to make a dangerous terrain test. So yeah, super. Buildings and fortifications suffer +1, modify the damage table. I mean, have you actually ever seen anybody use a building or fortification other than Aegis defense line?
No,
but me neither.
Impacts all terrain on the board, doesn't it?
No, it's just one, isn't it? It's just one piece of terrain.
But it's any terrain on the board. So if you've got a ruin there and you put your sniper squad in there,
yes, absolutely,
and they then say, "Oh no, we're gonna."
No cover save.
They're now getting no cover save from that.
It also means you can't use shrouded in there.
Yeah,
because that's the cover save.
Because that's
So so you could really do a number on somebody. I think it's pretty useful, but it is kind of situational. But there's almost certainly every game you play, somebody's going to sneak a unit in to cover that's pretty useful. They don't want to die quickly, so it's probably get used quite frequently. I think
the thing with it is it does cut both ways.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
You wouldn't want to put it in something in the middle.
Yeah. Go off across the board and you think, I need
wait a minute, this is Iron Warriors, right? Getting across the board is not what they do.
Hey, look, you've got to get those objectives. You've got to get those objectives.
To get those objectives, or you just kill everything before they can get the objectives. The ability is a nightmare for enemies relying on cover, which we talked about. The obvious move is to target terrain where opponent's position key shooting units, which we just talked about as well. Extra shooting phase reaction, I think, is always a good bonus because, particularly with this army, it synergies well with their shooting play style. So 2 return fires, for example. And I think probably the most useful place to have a reaction is the shooting phase. Because that gives you the option to maybe return fire on one unit and evade with another unit. So added unit utility against fortification buildings is kind of situational because I've never seen them used. But it's very thematic, I suppose, in that regard because it is, they are supposed to be there for smashing buildings up. So all good. Single piece of terrain. So, if you're having small pieces of terrain, it's not going to be too much of a hindrance. But if you've got sort of larger pieces of sort of very thematic terrain, it could be interesting. So all good. Do you want to take the one that I was going to take, Mr. B, which is the small island of
Tyrant of the Apokolokron. I'm terrible.
Apokolokron?
I'm terrible. I can't pronounce Greek. Okay, but this gives your warlord fearless rule.
Apolokron,
maybe. Yeah, it gives you fearless, but with some strings attached. You end up with mechanical, unyielding strings.
We're here for no strings.
Your warlord's unit must always shoot or charge the closest enemy unit, and they can only join Iron Warriors, Legionaries Astartes Iron Warriors units.
Yeah.
So it's like program behavior on the Mechanicum, but with the silver coat of paint. So your fearless leader might end up charging headlong into a squad of I put grots here, and it should be like angry militia or something,
Or rhinos.
or rhinos.
Bait him out with a rhino, for example.
Just a
Yeah.
trash.
In fact,
It really is, isn't
simply
it?
because it was sat a few inches closer than the Land Raider full of
Yeah, I mean, you can't even sit on an objective and go, well, I'm fearless on the objective, so that's
Yeah.
okay, right?
Anything that you can be kited off an objective should
Or kiting around the board,
it should be stricken from the record.
Just avoid them at all costs, because canny player will make sure that you pay for that.
Yeah.
Some people are douchebags.
Yes. I mean, the only thing I can think of where it might work, and it would work for a turn maybe, is if you've put your warlord in a Spartan, and then drive the Spartan to the closest enemy unit, so it's kind of dictated to you what you're going to charge. That would work.
I mean, that's how I would do it. Is I would put you in a vehicle and just charge up the board, get to something really crunchy that you want to deal with. I mean, because it's gonna do all right with melee squads. With Fearless is really good.
It is. I think as long as if you were going up against a Primarch, for example, you'd want to be fearless because you're probably going to lose more wounds than them, and then you're going to be running and sweeping advanced and what have you. So I can see that if you're putting them, it would work if you're putting them in a Spartan or a Land Raider or whatever, some sort of assault vehicle
or drop pod, getting them in the back line.
Yeah, but I think
particularly
can you assault? You can't. You can only assault from that one specific type of drop pod now, can't you?
But you can still be there.
Yeah, but then they could. Then you could then be.
No, that's true. Then you'd be kited. Yeah, you're right.
You see what I mean?
Yeah.
So
I mean, I was thinking, how could you make this work really well? And I thought maybe if you stick the warlord in a big despoiler squad with shrapnel crystals, which we'll talk about later, and nothing else, they're just going to get you get them in a Spartan. Maybe you'll get them into something that they can do something against.
Yeah, I mean, if you haven't got a job to avoid it, so like if you think about it, if you drove your Rhino within 8 inches of that squad, they'd have to shoot it with their pistols first. I mean, you could actually even tease out a return fire reaction, right? If they had pistols that you weren't too worried about, and you could go, okay, what I'm going to do is here's my 10-man lascannon squad, shoot them, they're going to return fire, and then you have to charge them, and they're going to overwatch. So yeah, you could make it quite difficult for people, I think.
Yeah, I think it sounds cool in practice, but it's maybe I don't think it works.
Putting the warlord and units within a transport is your only really.
Yeah,
that's the only sensible way to go about it, because the transport doesn't suffer from the same rule.
No.
So at least that gives you some element of control.
Yeah, totally.
Trash.
Yeah,
I hate those must attack.
Well, the thing is, I mean, what was it? I played against. I won't name them, but I played against somebody with world eaters who would shoot their bolt guns at something so they didn't have to charge the nearest enemy.
Yeah.
Which is like, so
it's the same person who used to put their world eaters back into the transport so they didn't.
that has happened to me as well.
Been a few of those
players. There's been a few of those. Yeah.
A few of those over the years.
Because I played someone like that, and it was like.
So you're kind of flanging your legion's kind of rules here. I mean, it's perfectly legit. I'm not saying it's not illegal, but it just feels a little bit. What they should have said, I think, is they should have been with the world eaters, for example, the legion with no downsides. They should have said you've got to shoot the nearest enemy as well as charge the nearest enemy.
You've always got to attack the nearest enemy, regardless of what it is.
Because you can get around it by going, well, I'm going to shoot my bolters over there, so I'd have to charge this unit that you've conveniently put here to make me charge them. So yeah, but yeah, it is what it is. I think, like I said, putting it on a warlord and making your warlord be in a transport that you can charge out of, it works for a turn or two and stops you from getting killed in something nasty. But yeah, other than that, you're running a dangerous game.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. And
Right,
then
last one, Chris.
the last one is you can get yourself a nice little B&B as the Tyrant of Lysatra.
Yeah, I mean that does sound
listen,
nice, doesn't it?
Lysatra does sound nice, doesn't it? It
It's-
sounds more eastern than, it
Southern-
sounds like it's
I'm
off
with
the
you, yeah,
coast
like-
of,
Yeah, I'm with you.
somewhere nice and warm.
Yeah, with maybe some mountains in the background, hillsides, olive groves. Fantastic, nice.
Just where I'd like to be. Looks out the window at the cold, wet December.
But of course, you would have to be a
British
tyrant there, unfortunately. But
weather.
those are the breaks.
I've long felt that was the role I was meant to encompass in life. Right. This enhances the warlord and any Iron Warriors infantry until unit they join by granting an extra shot with rapid fire, assault, or heavy weapons, excluding
Yes,
class
that's
and
what I was
template.
getting confused with.
Yeah, this can stack with the Bitter Fury reaction, enabling a weapon with any number of shots to get twice as many shots and then an additional shot. So
Yikes.
5 shots on a bolter. Yeah. Using the example from above, I mean, you're definitely losing a load of guys then. I mean, that's just not going to happen. You gets hot again, so you're never going to avoid that.
Right. Does it actually add to the gets hot, making it?
No,
twos?
I don't think.
Okay. Okay.
Let's just have a quick look.
Must always use Bitter Fury. It must always use Bitter Fury or Return Fire if fired upon.
Yeah, that's your
Okay.
disadvantage there.
So if somebody shoots you, you have to use one of your shooting reactions to return fire with that unit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, or yeah. Okay.
If you've got any reactions left, I mean,
But there is that. You would just basically make sure you use them up quickly.
I mean,
or you would
again, it's your opponent can dictate how you use your
absolutely, yeah.
which
Because they could go, well, I'm going to shoot that squad there.
No, they don't count. You can still
You what?
they don't count towards your army's allotment of reactions.
What? Trade officer. This can only use. Oh, I can only use these reactions and interceptor, so they can't Overwatch. Okay.
Yeah, they can't Overwatch, but
why does it not use your reaction? Oh, okay. No point on the reaction player's allocation. Okay,
Nice. Okay, so that is not bad then. But
so it's not as bad as it seems because you can still get it, but obviously no Overwatch. And if you've got that in a sort of, I don't know, a big unit with and you get attacked, it's yeah.
So if I let's say I'm Armistice, right, and make him my warlord, give him that, chuck him in with a Iron Havoc squad.
Yeah.
You shoot me with the Iron. You shoot the Iron Havoc squad.
Yeah.
They shoot back with 2 las cannons per.
Yeah.
On the return fire with no downsides.
3 las. Because they get 1 additional from the Bitter Fury.
If they use Bitter Fury, but they don't use Bitter Fury, you just use return fire, they would still get 2, right?
Yeah, but you can use them. But you can use Bitter Fury for free anyway. This reaction does not cost a point of the reactor player's reaction allotment.
Oh, right.
So why would you not take?
Isn't Bitter Fury a special reaction that you only use once?
It's your advanced reaction, yeah.
Yeah, so you can use
Yeah, you can save it until you such time as actually it's going to be useful.
3 las cannons per las cannon with gets hot.
Yeah,
or 2 without.
Yeah.
Goodness. Okay, that's pretty powerful.
Goodness, he says. Yeah.
Okay. I'm definitely gonna book a trip to Lysatra this year.
Very nice place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's some serious firepower.
I'd missed the part about the not taking up the points earlier.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I mean a whole army of reactions.
I mean a free return fire basically.
A free return fire for every unit.
Yeah. You'd have to snipe that warlord pretty sharpish.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
But then of course if you did that's gonna shoot you back, of course. But yeah.
If he's got the range.
Yeah, there is that.
Wow. Or the unit, he'd need to be in something sensible, wouldn't he? It's just a Spartan just to keep, because he's worth it. He's worth that points investment. He is the L'Oreal or whatever it was of Iron Warriors.
Wow. Okay, love it.
So yeah, it's a nice little set of warlord traits. But then again, I still kind of think bloody handed might work really well instead. But
Okay. Well, we'll find out.
Have we? I mean, we've not actually covered the generic warlord traits, have we? I don't think.
Maybe, I don't know. Maybe we have. Maybe we haven't. Possibly not.
Maybe when we did the first edition, when we did the first read through.
I don't think we've.
Maybe we're not. Maybe we didn't.
I don't recall ever discussing them because I rarely ever look at them because they don't generally apply to the. Well,
I use Stoic, whatever it is, all the time.
Yeah.
Because I'm Sons of Horus, so their warlord traits are absolutely trash. That's quite a good one. Basically, gives you pinning on your shooting attacks.
Yeah.
Which again might be another good one for Iron Warriors. Okay, cool. All right. So what do we think as warlord traits go? They're actually three pretty good ones, I think. In situational,
there's two very good ones and one.
Well, yeah, but two very good ones is a rarity.
I would say 2 silver medals and 1 4th place.
Yeah. Got you.
I don't know if they're all. I mean, if they're gold standard.
I think that the hillsides of Lysatra is gold standard because doubling your shots back is
true. That is true.
It's serious. I mean, you can just chuck in a
free
armistice or a master of signals and make them your warlord, and then Bob's your niece.
But it's gold, silver, and a first runner-up. There's not a third. I don't think.
I think in Olympic parlance, right?
Apollocron for me is a 4th or 5th place.
I think Apollocron is like that Turkish guy in the Olympics. The one with the pistol shooting. He kind of just rocked up with like nothing except a gun and got second, and like everybody else has like got all of the tech, and he's just like there going boom. I think that if you could cause an upset with that one if you use the tactic of putting them in a vehicle. But yeah, it's bronze.
It's just because it's out of your hands. Once he's out of the vehicle.
Yeah, I get your point. It's a participation trophy, is what we're saying.
Yeah. He's on the leaderboard. He participated on the event.
Thanks for churning up.
Absolutely. Yeah. 4th in the world isn't so bad.
Yeah.
But no one will remember you.
No.
All right.
Okay. Very good.
To use Olympic as we're on a Grecian Olympic.
I know, right? Yeah. Good segue. All right. What next then? So I think there's some pretty good traits in there. You could do something with them.
Yeah. We've got some weapons to.
You could build an army around them if you see what I mean.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
With that in mind.
Just have the worst gunline army known to man.
Oh, absolutely.
Just absolute filth. And I would turn up to that table and I would go, I'm going to hate every minute.
Every second of this is going to be pain. Okay. Like eating a really, really hot curry, basically. It's like every mouthful is agony.
But to think about it,
exquisite.
I wouldn't, because I never shoot anything. So it's absolutely fine.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
I would be okay.
Okay, let's do it then.
Yeah.
So we've got some war gear. So let's start with the graviton weapons. So there's 3 of these. Graviton maces. So these are free upgrade for power weapons. They're AP3 haywire weapons that excel against vehicles, dreadnoughts, and automata while maintaining solid anti-infantry performance. However, a lone wielder won't reliably take down other targets, and a power fist is often a superior choice for versatility and hitting power for only 5 more points. Good point, well made. Best suited for units desperate to save points or focus on taking out specific armoured threats. Yeah, I mean, 4 attacks maybe with a Centurion's on 3 attacks, 4 on the charge. I think, Graham, yeah, I think they have 3 attacks. And a Praetor's on 4 attacks and 5 on the charge. You're not going to take down on your own, like you say, Mr. B, you're not going to take down a dreadnought. You might give a little bit of a knock, but you're not going to do too much. You might get through a vehicle though. So yeah, if you're short of points and you can only afford power weapons, or you don't want to spend any points and you're just upgrading power weapons, not a bad choice in comparison to say a power maul or a power sword. So yeah. Then we've got graviton crushers, which are a significant downgrade from thunderhammers. They lose brutal to an instant death potential and an attack outweighs the haywire benefit. So Thunderhammer remains the better choice. Absolutely. Don't quite see the point of them, to be honest with you. Graviton Mauls, though, 15-point upgrade for a Dreadnought Graviton Power Fist. So it's going to have to do something here because a Power Fist Brutal 3. Mauls offer Haywire and Brutal 2. While great as an all-rounder, they fall short against vehicles compared to a Chain Fist and lose the effectiveness against multi-walled.
It's not an unwieldy weapon. So it's going at initiative.
So do the normal Dreadnought Power Fists.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm guessing they're only an upgrade for a Dreadnought level Power Fist thing.
Yeah, that's the upgrade to Dreadnought Power Fist.
So yeah, I mean Haywire and Brutal. So you're gonna, I mean, you'd have to wound, wouldn't you? I guess Brutal 2 isn't terrible, but yeah, I think just the base 15 points doesn't seem worth it for what you're doing, to be honest. So yeah,
Haywire isn't.
I suppose Haywire would give you a better. I mean, the Gravis Power Fist is, if I'm not mistaken, strength 9. I think. So it's if you're going up against, say, you wanted to take on a Land Raider variant, you're looking at 5s and 6s to glance and pen. Whereas with this weapon, you know, each attack that you get, so it's, I think, 3 base pool of charge, would be potentially doing a whole points damage just through the Haywire. So I can see it. Maybe that with a Power Fist and the other fist might be quite a cool combo.
Yeah,
for 15 points, to give you covering all bases. But yeah,
it's one of those things that seems like they kind of could be cool, but I don't think they. Sometimes I think they're struggling to.
Okay, good stuff. Maces have situational ability, utility rather. Crusher should be generally avoided, and Mauls only appear in niche cases. Stick with traditional weaponry for consistent results. They're probably right. Yeah, that's not unreasonable. Okay, shrapnel weapons, though, they're really interesting.
So any bolt pistols, bolters, or heavy bolters, you can swap for shrapnel variants at 2 points, or Dreadnought Gravis cannons can be swapped out for shrapnel version 5 points. And you lose a bit of range, bit of AP, but pinning, which forces enemy leadership tests whenever an unsafe wound is inflicted. And obviously, when our test is failed, hindered, can't move, react, or do anything more than stab.
And it stops a charge. So if you shoot somebody and they're charging you on Overwatch, and they then get pinned, that charge fails.
So this is all about disrupting the enemy's plans. You can shut down your lower leadership units, maybe use sniper rifles, take out some sergeants to reduce the leadership value, perhaps. You know, Nemesis bolters are really useful for that. You put these onto Spartans and Rhinos, and suddenly you've got a lot more units potentially pushing a lot more checks. That's the way I would do it. I would like use pinning on a mobile platform and really sort of make the best of that, because it's reduced range, so it's slightly less effective. You can't use Fury of the Legion with it, because it's a different type of weapon, so you can't even get bayonets.
I would think these would be most useful in Overwatch.
Yeah, what's the success rate of pinning tests on Marines? It's got to be like 70-ish%, isn't it?
Well, I mean, the leadership
60, 65, 70, I don't know.
So that's so it's so there's 1/3 chance of pinning them.
Yeah. But I would say if you're going to use it, multiple small units, small squads, force more pinning attacks. The more pinning checks you can force, the more useful they are. So put them on your vehicles. Small tactical squads. Maybe a Hammer of Olympia Rite of War, which we're going to talk about soon, is going to be working with that. The situational, you really need to think out, I think, when using these, but they are cool because
what you really want is something with a fear bubble nearby to reduce that leadership further, unless they're stubborn. But yeah, cool stuff. I like these actually. After having initially kind of dismissed them a bit when they first came out, sort of redoing the army list, I was like, actually, no, I can see why they could be quite useful.
I think the importance, and now we have reactions as a thing.
Yeah.
And pinning is such a useful rule now. Whereas before it was useful, but now it's like, I don't want you to be able to Overwatch me. I don't want you to be able to
Yeah.
or
To return fire. Yeah. No, totally. So yeah, I think there's definitely a place for the shrapnel bolter. It does tie up though. It does become quite expensive after when you're upgrading a lot of units.
I think a squad. It's actually 20 points on a
20 points. 10-man squad. Yeah, and once you get to a 20-man squad, it's 40, and it's that's like you could have another 4 guys somewhere. And
or a rhino.
Or a rhino. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So yeah, interesting stuff. Okay, cool.
Yeah, it's I think I rate them, but I would want them with lots of small units.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
Rights of war.
Rights of war. Let me just get my.
So, what about in terms of the war gear? Because again, some war gear you see all over the place, like phalanx blades for world eaters. Other war gear, you never see it. It's listed. You never see the sign of it. Everybody's got their own war gear. You never see them on anything. I think shrapnel bolters you probably see quite a lot of, and I think they're worth it. I haven't seen anybody using the graviton stuff, to be honest with you.
I think
I've never seen graviton
probably a
stuff.
good reason for that, because as we said, generic weapons do the job better.
Yep, agreed. Okay, cool.
Which is unfortunately sometimes the crack. But yeah, I say shrapnel bolts. You have, we've always seen them as a sort of iron wireless. So
yeah. Okay. So rights of war.
Rights of war. The Hammer of Olympia.
Yeah.
This is a no-nonsense choice for armor players, turning your army into a relentless juggernaut of lead-spitting, tank-crushing fury, according to Ghost of Christmas Present. Main star here is the shrapnel weapons. Now get a massive boost in offensive fire. Instead of the usual shoot and pin and hope, your shrapnel bolters and pistols now get extra shots, because more lead is always good, and you get to reroll 1s to hit. Combine this with Golden Signum for Blitzing 5, and your infantry squads are practically guaranteed to hit. Absolutely. Is the range? The only problem is the range of it doesn't get increased, does it?
No, it's still reduced by 6 effectively.
Yeah. So you're still going to get stuck in to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Tactical squads get sort of Fear of the Legion, Fear of Olympia. Same but extra shots, but similarly for shrapnel weapons, meaning they're even more efficient at close range. It's 2 points per model. Of course, for the shrapnel bolters. But who needs a bolter when you can trade it all for a shrapnel bolter? More shorter range. That's the problem. It's that short range. It is. It's just like unpleasant to my spinal column. But
I mean, I was thinking, how often are you at the edges of your sort of range, effectively, with bolt guns? They're usually you're trying to get them within 12 anyway. But yeah,
I think with this one, if
someone's within 9 inches, effectively,
I see what you mean. They're that is danger close, isn't it?
That is, that's they're not failing that charge roll or whatsoever.
No.
On top of that, your vehicles, like the Predators and Spartans, get to show off those pesky crew shaken stun results on a 5+, meaning they get to roll around and have a good old time. And of course, it's fairly pricey, because you need to include a Warsmith or Perturabo.
Yeah, I mean, a Warsmith's only a 20-point upgrade, isn't it?
But you're going to take the big lad. Come on, we all know you're taking old.
No, I don't. I'm not so sure. But anyway, we'll see.
425 points of him.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd probably go for the Warsmith.
Yeah.
So would I. No deep strike,
no flanking assaults.
Yeah.
So you got to do it the old-fashioned way, which
kind of is Iron Warrior-y.
It works. Yeah, absolutely. Just keep point in direction, walk towards.
Yeah, let's go.
I mean, it's sort of, in many ways, this is the right that kind of is the default.
Yeah, I mean, it's not as good as it used to be, of course. It used to be a lovely right of war.
Yeah.
Because you used to get extra heavy support choice slot which was fantastic. You had to take an extra troop choice, but it wasn't neither here nor there.
Yeah. Cheap troop choice.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna.
Four heavy support choices. Yeah. Very cool. Okay.
Yeah.
So the next out of the bag, probably the one that's equally used, I think. This is the Iron Fire. So it's all about heavy artillery, reckless abandon, and the Iron Warrior signature disregard for the safety of their own troops. In true Iron Warrior fashion, you get to fire your artillery dangerously close to your own infantry.
Now, this is danger close.
Risking it all for those sweet, sweet explosions. Your barrage weapons now only scatter 1d6 instead of 2d6. And when targeting a point within 12 inches of a friendly unit, or when they are targeting a point, within 12 inches of a friendly unit. So you have your own unit, you shoot them with some barrage weapons. As long as they're within 12, that is only going to scatter 1d6. So make sure it's at least 6 away from your guys, is my advice. So while artillery may have taken a big hit this edition, you're still setting up some glorious blasts with a high degree of accuracy, and your infantry will stand firm while the shells explode around them because they get stubborn, which is pretty cool. So basically get your army up the board, shoot them with your own artillery, and get them stubborn so they're going nowhere to grab those lovely objectives. So they seem to get more brave as more terrifying artillery lands around them. The real joy for this is the flexibility with your artillery Arquator squadrons can be taken as non-compulsory troop choices, meaning you can beef up your firepower as they have room for some more traditional troops. Phosphex carrying siege breakers, for example, they get that. Your artillery doesn't just throw bombs willy-nilly, they get pinpoint accuracy, especially when combined with Nuncio boxes to re-roll any scatters, of course, which will almost certainly mean those explosives hit their mark or close to their mark at least. And let's be honest, your infantry won't be too bothered by the barrage because, again, they get to re-roll failed armor saves against blast wounds, but they all get the heavy type without the drawbacks. So it's like the heavy type, but without the drawbacks. So super useful for your whole of your troop choices, or sorry, for the whole of your army, effectively. But of course, all this power comes with limitations. You can't deep strike, subterranean assault, or flank. So don't get any ideas about sneaking up on the opponent with a surprise, which is a bit of a pain because what you really want to do is to deep strike something in, right behind the lines and use that as effectively a handy kind of marker point to just throw all your artillery around them. But you can't do that. And you'll need to take more of these Arquator artillery squadrons, I think, than the cavalry units. So yeah, you've basically got to take, if you want to take a cavalry unit, you've got to take 2 Arquators, which is a problem if you're planning on running a cavalry heavy force. But again, there is an argument with using cavalry here because you want things up the board quick. So, range in your artillery. So I can see that being something. And you've got to take a siege breaker, which isn't a huge drawback because you want phosphex shells for your Arquators. So all good. And of course he gives Sunder, I believe, as well.
He does, yeah. It's a unit within 6 inches of him, I believe. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, cool. Yeah. In the end, Ironfire is perfect right if you want to focus artillery heavy lists with heavy emphasis on explosive firepower and a strong who cares about casualties attitude. You may lose some mobility, but when you can blast your enemies to bits from the safety of your own living room, it's hard to complain. So yeah, I think it's a pretty good one. So yeah, not bad. Both have actually, weirdly enough, 2 pretty good rights of war. It's situational, the second one, but as a sort of default, like you say, Mr. B, the Hammer of Olympia is a pretty good coverall, without too many downsides, really.
Yeah,
it's not like got some weird. You've got to do this, so you've got to spend 100 at least 200 points before you can take this right of war kind of thing. So, what's the thing for the Hammer Olympia? You just got to basically take a
Warsmith
with 20 points, which is
Centurion.
Yeah, which is next to nothing. Okay, cool.
Nice.
What about the individual units then?
Oh yeah. So moving on, we've got it's an interesting army in the way that they have in the units, because some of them are really well. Let's just talk about them. Well, first of all, this is the first time we're sort of mentioning these guys in a Legion Focus episode, the Inducti. So this is Perturabo, when he had the inducti, he was sort of like, what if they were Space Marines, but less fun, more obedient, and they just shot anything? And they're tacticals that have the soul of iron instead of heart of the Legion. So they are absolutely immune to pinning, but they have to shoot the closest enemy unit, which is
a massive downside.
Yeah, it's a bit of a joke, really.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I make them fearless at least. I mean, just, it's
shoot the closest arm unit. It's a bit of a cruel prank, really. But Hammer of Olympia, if you're taking that as your right of war, you are fast. So you can pop them into your transports and get them to the right target.
Yep.
Then shoot your shrapnel bolters, and it's fine, because at the end of the day, if I'm going to take a unit of inducti, they're 100 points.
Yeah.
If they end up being baited to shoot a rhino, am I that bothered?
Well, not with your +1 to hit strength as well.
Well, no, in general, no. Seriously, if the enemy is saying, "Oh, I'm going to move this rhino up here," you've just wasted a unit.
Yeah.
That I can easily destroy, and it lets the siege tyrants take care of stuff because you're trying to waste time. So I would say these are actually not too bad a unit to use as long as you explain the rules to try and sort of manipulate your opponent into baiting you, as it were, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, it does. I mean, inducti I struggle with as a rule anyway, just because they're not good enough for you to kind of spend additional points on.
I think the thing is, we haven't discussed in one of these Legion Focus episodes an inducti that's actually good. The Archangels have a great inducti unit; they just can't be used with Dark Angel Rights of War.
Yeah,
but wait till we get on to.
I just don't think that you would. I just don't think you would spend the additional points. Really, I mean,
they're not additional points. They are 100.
Because if you think about it, you've got a troop tax, right, of at least 200 points.
Yeah,
on
they're not compulsory troops anyway. So that's
exactly. So you're not gonna. So you've got to buy 200 points worth of troops anyway.
If I'm spending 100 points of troop choice, I'm probably taking a recon squad.
Yeah, absolutely.
Whack a Nuncio Vox on. And,
absolutely. And infiltrate up the line,
and calling those.
Then again,
lovely destruction.
Then again, if they're immune to pinning, so that's not too bad. +1 strength against vehicles, dreadnoughts, position them right.
Yeah, but I mean, who's going to go to the effort of pinning them? Unless you're worried about them being. You see what I mean? It's like
I'm not going to say, "Oh, these are amazing. These are absolutely the best inducti there." But they're an option. They're a possibility.
That feels like a Friday afternoon. We want to go down the pub. Let's just throw some weird rules together and see what happens.
Yeah, they are one of the inducti are sort of like, they're really weird because some of them are amazing and then some of them are like this.
Not massively impressed. Okay, cool.
They're sort of grim. They're efficient. If you put in the effort, maybe you can get something with them, but at the slot they're competing in, you could do better.
Okay.
All right, Chris, you've got a real tasty one.
Tried that before. Come on.
Oh,
if he's gonna say things like that, it's always gonna happen. Right, Tyrant Siege Terminators. At 300 points for 5, they are a significant investment, but they bring an immense amount of firepower and durability to the table. These Terminators come with the same stat line as regular Legion Terminators, so they have an additional point of leadership on both the squad and the Siege Master. Every model in the unit is armed with a Power Fist, and the Siege Master can be equipped with an Omniscope and a grenade harness. The squad also benefits from firing protocols too, allowing them to fire both their rocket launchers and their combi bolters in the same turn.
Yes. Nice.
It is a definite win. The Tyrant rocket launcher is it allows them to fire frag rockets, which are strength 4, heavy 4. For infantry, flat missiles, strength 7, heavy 2, Skyfire to deal with aircraft, and a crack variant, strength 8, heavy 2, AP3 to target vehicles and tougher units.
Yeah, they'd always be strength 8. I've just realised against flyers, wouldn't they? Because they're +1 against vehicles. But I suppose flying demons you wouldn't get a +1 against.
No, but the crack are always going to be strength 9 against.
Yeah.
Um,
Tanks and dreadnoughts.
Tanks and dreads.
Yeah, heavy too.
Just-
So yeah,
Absolutely.
nice.
AP3 though, so they are not gonna. It's gonna be a whole point.
Yeah, you're basically going to try and
Yeah.
glance it to death, aren't you?
With the Omniscope on the Siege Master, the unit ignores night fighting rules and gains the Interceptor advanced reaction, and the useful Skyfire option. Which counts up enemy deep strikes or flying units. Their ability to deliver a high volume of firepower is one of the greatest strength. Thanks to firing protocols 2, they can shoot both their rockets and combi bolters. And
Pack missiles are 48 as well, aren't they? Range, so they've got a fair.
Yeah,
They've got a fair reach.
they've got a lot going for them.
Ooh.
They are a super cool thing. Power fists, combi bolters, getting up close and personal. They can take chain fists. They can take lightning claws. Though
You wouldn't want them really. They just.
No.
I wouldn't put anything on them other than what they've got.
No.
I mean,
'Cause-
because it's just not worth it. If
No.
they're in close combat, it's all over. It's too late.
strength. Well,
I mean, they could
It's-
probably hold 2 wounds each, aren't they? Power fists.
Just thinking. Do power fists double your strength, or do they have a fixed strength value?
Double your strength.
Power fist double your strength. So, are you
You'd
strength
be
5?
No, you're
Or
strength.
are you strength?
You're strength 9
Strength
because you're
9.
+1
Yeah.
to the end strength, effectively, isn't it?
Just wanted to double.
Yeah, I mean they are pretty.
Just a
I mean, you
fixed-
put them on your back line. Chuck a herald in, to make them line, so they've got chuck them on objective. Just delete everything that comes your way.
Yeah. Away over time.
Yeah.
It's just I don't think there's
I mean,
very little.
yeah, I mean they would die to a 10-man Nascannon squad, but they would kill the 10-man Nascannon squad in the process.
Yeah.
Most things would die to a 10-man last down squad.
Yeah, true.
It's
Mm.
it's 10 last cannons. It's
Yeah,
if you
I mean, if you have 10 of them and you shot them with a dreadnought, I'm trying to think. Bear in mind the dreadnought's got 2+ save, so hitting on 2s. I mean, I don't know, you'd probably hope to kill a dreadnought, but I don't know whether you would.
I don't know if you would need probably
A couple of rounds of that, wouldn't you? Because 2+ saves are hard to get through.
it's either it shoots you and you react to it with
Yeah, 20 shots.
20 shots.
Yeah.
Would be the
Yeah.
kind of only way. Because it's going to make
Yeah, it's going to make a lot of saves.
it's going to make a lot of its 2 pluses. We've all we've seen it happen lots.
So many times.
And you're like, no.
It's like, right, you've got 42+ saves. Oh, you've taken 2 wounds. That's
I've been both on the end of it and the person that has given that.
Yeah,
So,
fair enough.
I can't grumble. But
Yeah,
I just think there's no way.
they're kind of useful in close combat. Like I said, if you charge them and you got to the Overwatch, they'd still be able to do a number on you.
I mean,
You didn't have the right things to deal with them.
they'll delete most things that they, that
Yeah, I think so. But I think putting them with an armistice with a cognitive signum or a master signals, definitely. Yeah, that's probably what I would do.
Yeah.
Oh, Tyrant of Lysatra, as Mr. B puts in the notes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Another good option. That would give them another shot. It'll double their shots. 4 shots then. Is it double the shots? No, it's +1. isn't it?
+1. So both an additional
3.
+1. So they have 3. But if
Yeah.
they're using Bitter Fury, 4.
Ooh.
So
Oh.
then they could probably delete.
Yeah, I mean that's
Dreadnought
a
by itself.
lot. Yeah, it's a lot of shots. Cool.
Yeah, they are.
But then if you failed your gets hot roll, you would die. Strength 8, isn't it?
Yes.
Having said that, you got a 2+ save against it, so it might be
so
worth it.
3. So you would.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's probably worth doing. Cool.
Mhm.
Yeah, super cool. Yeah, adding on
Level.
this.
Very cool unit.
Definitely. Okay,
Nice.
cool.
Nice. Really
I think you've got your favorite now. No, this is not your favorite. This is not quite.
No, it's definitely not my favourite.
No, a unit.
A unit, Iron Circle Maniple, cool unit conceptually and narratively. They were Perturabo's bodyguard after he had a little bit of a run in with his own fellas. So they're basically battle automata from the Mechanicum book.
Mhm.
But they've got superior offensive and defensive capabilities. So they're armed with shrapnel cannons and graviton balls. So they can deal significant damage, especially on the charge. The graviton balls, strength 9, AP 2, brutal 2, and have hammer of wrath 3. So ouch. They can dish out a lot of punishment. However, with the weapon skill of 4 and only 3 attacks, they can struggle against elite units. They totally will. If you've got weapon skill 5, they're hitting you on 5s, which makes things considerably harder. Their true strength lies in their defensive capabilities. With the Carcery battle shields, they have a 5+ in-run save, and any instant death wounds are converted to D3 wounds, like Automata. If in base contact with another Domitar Ferrum, their invulnerable save improves to 4+, making them super tough. Their cybernetic nature, however, means they require a controller like a Warsmith or a Pravian to prevent them from being easily baited into unwanted charges. 420 points for 3 models, they're pricey, but offer solid durability and firepower. When paired with a Warsmith, they become even more formidable, making them a strong choice for holding the line and disrupting enemy plans. Another option there, I would say, is the Warmonger and Deep Strike them in, which I saw somebody talking about today.
Yeah,
that would work. Because they would take some stopping and you'd have to deal with them because you wouldn't want them rampaging your back lines. They've got quite a lot of wounds. So what's their armor save, though? Is it 3? I don't think it's 2 because they're not kind of dreadnought level, are they? They're automaton level.
They're a Legacies unit. They're a Legacies unit.
No, they're in the book.
Oh, you're on the Iron Circle, aren't we?
Yeah.
3+.
Yeah, so, okay. I mean, toughness 7, strength 7, 5 wounds. They've got a low initiative, though, initiative 3. 3 attacks, like you say. Hammer of Wrath 3, moving bulwark, which is the +1 to their in-run save. So not a terrible unit, and they would require some removal if you thumped them on the back line somewhere. So yeah, nice. Where are we? So we're talking about defensive. The Iron Circle maniple takes. We've done that. Highly durable, but they are costly. If you want to. In the Iron Circle takes a Domitar Ferrum strengthening further with the moving bulwark and shield of the Iron Tyrant. They gain an additional boost to their vulnerable save and feel the pain 5+ when they're part of Perturabo's retinue. Mm-hmm. This makes them even harder to kill, but they still suffer from their low weapon skill, meaning they may miss many of their attacks against elite units. At 150 points for the first and 135 for each additional one, this can become quite expensive. They require a minimum 3,420 point game to field Perturabo and his retinue, limiting their use in smaller games. I did not know that, but yeah, I guess it all counts towards the. Does that count then? The retinue is included as part of the cost of the.
I think so, isn't it?
A part of the.
I always thought it was. I might be wrong.
I don't think so. Because you take them as your Lord of War is your.
But yeah, the retinue though, are they like a war gear upgrade effectively? That is an interesting one. Yeah.
It is. Okay.
I'll have a look.
Okay, it does, yeah, it would come off of his costs, wouldn't it? Thinking about it, yeah.
According to Perturabo's too, isn't it? Just,
yeah, that is sort of like a maximum, the maximum unit there, so.
Yeah, okay, yeah, I'm with you. But you can only take, 750 is the maximum for a 3,000 point game, I believe. 25%. So, yeah.
Maniple, Selector's Retinue Squad does not take out use of force on this chart.
Yeah.
And is considered part of the same unit.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you're kind of screwed then.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so you could take, 2, I think? 2 guys, maybe?
285 points that costs you for 2.
Yeah, 3.
420. So that,
yeah, 800 something. So you can do 2 of them will be 710 points. So that's about that's as good as you can get, basically. So yeah, interesting. But anyway, I think they're pretty cool. I've never seen them used massively effectively, but I can see two of them being quite a good upgrade for if you wanted to have some fun and games with the bad boy himself. But I mean, what would you do with them once you've got them? You'd have to walk across the board, basically.
Yeah,
unless you
much.
struck them with a warmonger or something. You'd be a little bit screwed, to be honest with you. There'd be very expensive units sitting at the back line waiting for you to come to them, which you would try to avoid.
Yeah, it's a bit of a problem. And then if we're talking about if you want there's a transport coming up later on that I suppose they could go in, but it's stupid. It increases the points needed for the game even further.
Got you.
Oh my word.
Okay,
cool.
Let's crack on.
All right, Dominators. These are a exemplary battle unit, the Tyrannophakaios. I have no idea if I've pronounced that right. His original bodyguards until they flubbed it big time in the Battle of Phal, and then he rebuilt the Iron Circle. And ever since then, they hate robots. They couldn't even deal with an Imperial Fist. So what are they going to do with robots?
Couldn't even deal with an Imperial Fist.
Yeah,
he says.
they
the man who plays Imperial Fist.
Yeah. They basically, this is a melee focused Terminator unit, and I think they're pretty decently priced.
Yeah, I do too.
Thunder Hammers, Combi Bolters, squad of 10, cheaper than the same Cataphractii squad by 50 points, if I work that out right. And that's before you consider that they are Leadership 9, stubborn, hatred automata, so I suppose automata. So you're basically hoping to play Mechanicum there. Chosen
Automata,
Warriors.
I think would be the correct,
Chosen Warriors and Weapon Skill 5. They are going to be an absolute pain in your bum.
They're too cheap not to include.
Yeah. Great in close combat. Those Thunder Hammers are going to take on
those Thunder.
He was.
Oh, okay. Thunder Hammers are going to turn your enemy Death Stars into scrap. They will take Contemptors down on the charge.
Yeah, absolutely.
Fun flex there. They're also the only source of Weapon Skill 5 Terminators in the Iron Warriors outside of a command squad.
Yep.
And compared to everything else in that same role, they're cheaper.
Yeah.
Why would you not take these? They're almost they should be in many lists and auto include. And you can even take a multi-melter for every 5 models.
You can. Yeah. So,
but that's a single shot, and that's 25 points. So
I don't think I would. I think I would save my points for.
Yeah, I would.
I mean, it's 100 points if you had. Well, no, it'd be 50 points if you had 2 of them for a 10-man squad, wouldn't it?
Yeah. So you can take them as a retinue for Perturabo, which gives them Feel No Pain 6+, but it means you can't take Iron Circle because they wouldn't have been invented yet. A full squad with Perturabo will cost you 900 points before any upgrades. So maybe not do that. I'd just take them as elites, throw in a Primus Medicae, and you are golden.
I think if they're, I must have a quick look actually. If they are taken as a retinue squad, do they get the banner?
Which thing are they in?
I don't know. They're in exemplary battles. The battle. Anyway, so these are going to be great at dealing with your dreadnoughts. They're going to wreck enemy gun lines, and they're solid, reliable counter-attacking unit. They're slow, but when they hit, oh my god, I can't deal with them. When they hit me, they just hit so hard. Weapon Skill 5 Thunder Hammers, they'll just clear out anything.
Yeah, no, they are. I mean, the problem is, well, yes and no. The only unit that would, but even then it would probably struggle. There's only one unit I think that you could probably put them against when they would do them over, which would be the Suzerain. And even then it would be touch and go because they'd have to do a lot of wounds to them.
Yeah.
Because they have AP2 axes at initiative. So anything that's going to go before them at AP2, like a Praetor with a Vorpal sword or whatever it was called, the Paragon blade, could make a bit of a mess. But yes, stick a snack. Would struggle. But I think you're right, Mr. B. I mean, I would chuck them at dreadnoughts and just. I mean, the dreadnoughts would potentially kill 4 of them.
The only problem is you can only take 1 of them.
Right, yeah. Which is kind of not a bad limitation to be fair.
Yeah, if you weren't every single elite
just full of these, yeah.
Have
Okay.
you found it, Chris?
Mhm.
Have you found them?
No.
I'll take what if you want to look at the next unit, which is really cool. I will find the exemplary battle one. Oh, here it is. Straight up, I think it is. It is Prove It Iron Warriors. Oh, it's going to be is it in the Legacies document?
One thing I did find with them was they couldn't take a Spartan as a dedicated transport.
When did the game last? When did the game come out? When did this edition come out? It was 22, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
so.
So they're going to be in the Legacies document. So Warhammer the Horus Heresy, exemplary battles of the Legend of Darkness, exemplary battles. No, Legacies of the Age of Darkness. They've rearranged the downloads on the site.
They have, yeah.
I really dislike it. It's not as easy to.
Really confusing.
Okay.
It's not as easy at a glance to see what you're looking at.
Okay.
I mean, exemplary battles unit update, Imperial Fists, Night Lords. Here we go. Iron Warriors. What were we asking?
What one are they in?
They are in the exemplary battles update. They're not on
the big one, the big PDF.
What were we asking other than what they're in? I'll send you the link in WhatsApp.
Yeah, I think it was just whether they could take a standard, but I don't think they can.
Whether they become right. Okay. Blah 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 blah. Those ones honored retinue. I don't think they take a banner.
No,
they are. Do not take up. They don't have any option for banner in their thing. Well, they're not a command squad. They're a dominator squad.
Yeah, fair enough.
They can be selected. Right. Okay. So Iron Warriors cohort retinue squad in detachment that includes Perturabo instead of elite, so they can't be taken as a retinue for a normal dude. Must be deployed. May not voluntarily lead the retinue. All models use hatred instead. Grief, gain feel no pain. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and they can't take a Spartan as a dedicated transport, which is for a Terminator squad.
Blah, 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 blah.
Proteus.
Proteus carrier.
Yeah, that's it.
It can't take more than 5 models. So you can't take this with Perturabo. So again, you're looking at massive game with that particular transport or buying a separate heavy.
You would have to buy them separate. You'd have to buy a separate heavy Spartan, which is a pain, but yeah.
All right. Next one is a Legacies unit, but
They are the Iron Havocs. The original heavy hitters and premium anti-tank unit for the Iron Warriors. 135 points gets you 5 ballistic marines in heavy power armor with shrapnel cannons, which I would help cough over.
that's all right.
Which are great for causing pinning, but aren't while you're taking these guys. What you're after is the option to swap them out for autocannons for free, for solid light armor, or even better, missile launchers or las cannons, which when paired with the Iron Warriors Legion trait can deliver the damage equivalent to neutron lasers. Add in a Ferrum Ocularis for precision strikes, and these guys become an absolute menace to key characters and vehicles.
Agreed.
While they're good at pinning and sniping at important targets like sergeants or praetors with their precision shots, shrapnel cannons are less reliable for consistent damage at range due to their 24 inches and snapshot restrictions. But that's a minor gripe when you can opt for autocannons or las cannons.
Yeah. I mean, you'd go las cannons, wouldn't you, most of the day? Maybe autocannons as well.
I don't know. Missile launchers, and you're dealing with infantry and vehicles, sort of.
Yeah, but if I can strength 10 precision strike guys with las cannons, I'm taking las cannons.
Yeah, every day of the week.
Yeah,
it's an option.
I know. I mean, points are always a consideration. Absolutely.
Yeah.
They're not terribly pointed, I don't think. 135.
Was it 300? If a squad of 10 with las cannons, 385 points. You take a heavy support squad with the same loadout and a tech marine. Oh, sorry. Because you want to take these with
Cognos signal.
stock them. That's 345 points. But those 40 points, I think the extra accuracy with BS5 and precision shot 6+, worth it.
Yeah, you got a point there. Actually, it's a normal heavy support squad.
I think 40 more points.
I mean, what are you getting for free from that? You're basically just getting. Yeah, you wouldn't have to use your Cognos Signum to boost the ballistic skill every turn. And you can't use the Cognos Signum on reactions because they've said you can't. So, yeah.
And you've got that precision shot 6+. So you are taking out those sergeants.
Is it only
characters?
Have they all got a Ferrum Oculus, or is it just the sergeant that's got the precision shot 6+?
Where is the Legacies document now? Legacies of the Dark Age, Demons of the Runestorm, Fear of Solar Auxilia, Legion. There we go. Right, Legion. Where is it? It's not. It's not flipping.
Page up.
It's not got links, and I'm like, you curses.
Iron Havoc's page 75.
75. 75. Iron Havocs. Ferrum Oculus. It's a wargear. Yeah, they've all got it.
Oh, nice.
It's not specific to.
Yeah, cool.
As long as the attack is not made as part of a reaction or snapshot. So yeah.
Okay, nice.
So
very cool.
Yeah.
They are paying more for the las cannons than normal heavy.
Okay.
They are an additional 5 points.
Right.
Yeah. But again,
and they are an additional 5 points as well.
But again, you're getting that Ferrum Oculus for precision shot 6+. I think it's worth it.
Yeah. Okay. Sold.
Yeah.
To the ghost
and ballistic skill 5 base. You don't need that.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, fair enough.
So you don't have to take an extra elite unit in order to up their precision. You're freeing up an elite choice there.
Yeah, or a HQ choice, because you would take a armistice or a.
Yes. Yeah.
So yeah,
I always forget the armistice. You know, I'm writing these documents, and I'm like, I seriously keep forgetting the armistice is a thing, and
he's really cool. Yeah.
All right. You got a short one next, Graham.
Oh, that's exactly. Not the first time that's been said to me either. Legion Auxilia. Shot shrouded. If a Legion Auxilia unit has to take a leadership test, thanks to pinning or concussive, they roll penalties to those tests. So this is, when you're taking
Solar Auxilia.
Solar Auxilia, specific Solar Auxilia for you, they ignore the effects of pinning or concussive effectively, which isn't bad.
Yeah. I was thinking that might be useful in the Iron Fire, maybe.
Yeah, if you're going down that route, stop you from making half your army run away.
Yeah. That's all I can really think of, to be honest.
Cool.
All right. Warsmith, he's a... I don't know, is this a separate unit or is it an upgrade?
It's an upgrade. It's an upgrade.
Yeah. I was sort of like comparing. Should I put it in the characters or should I put it...
it's an upgrade to the...
upgrade to the Praetor. 20 points. Yeah. You get a Cortex Controller, Servo Arm, Master of Automata, Battlesmith 3+. So you're now a great commander for mechanized force with especially because the Iron Warriors really like vehicles. They repair support with the Battlesmith, so your vehicles are more durable. Master of Automata lets you join Iron Circles, so you can give leadership to them, which is great. Also, if you choose to take any Mechanicum stuff, you've got a Cortex Controller there, which helps. He's a really good character for to support a really heavy mechanized force, especially in Hammer of Olympia. Works well with Tyrant Siege Terminators, so you've got extra durabilities and support. And I think they basically, you can now make all your attacks with the servo arm because they sort of clarified that in the errata.
That's right.
So you can deal with other stuff. I mean, you've got that Paragon Blade with instant death you can take, but you can't take a bike or a jump pack.
Yeah.
If you're taking Iron Warriors, they're not
probably not going to do that. Oh yeah, anyway. Yeah.
And I think if you are running a lot of dreadnoughts or a lot of tanks, I really think this is one to take.
Yeah, definitely. It's a great upgrade.
Yeah,
20 points. And like I say, you can, if you want to, just clobber somebody with your servo arm. Who doesn't want to do that?
Yeah. So what's your opinions of the units that we've looked at? Because
there's not a bad. Well, there isn't really a bad one, to be honest with you.
They're all good. They're all
siege tyrants are really good.
Are always good.
Yeah, they're a bit ropey. There's nothing.
Any of the sensible choices.
Yeah, but Iron Havocs plus siege tyrants. The classics really. What is weird though, I think, is why were Iron Havocs put in legacies? Because they weren't legacies in V1.
Because there wasn't a unit for them. I think that was the key. There wasn't a specific model for the Iron Havocs, so they put them into legacies. It's
just
a lot of
cannon squad, aren't they? Really?
basically what happened was everything that didn't have a model went into legacies, and it was really annoying because the whole thing has always been about. Up until now, there was a lot of we created this unit. There's not a model for it. Model it yourself.
It's the fact that the thing that I always think weird is that the rule book says, you can take Basilisk, you can take Medusas for the Iron Fire right of order.
Yeah.
But they're a legacies unit. They're not actually in that particular book, which is just
weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree.
But yeah, there are loads of things that should have been.
Yes, and some things that should have been or should have been forgotten were not.
I mean, 2 Dark Angels characters, in the bin. Loads of other ones, sort of.
Well, yeah. I mean, maybe we'll come on to the 2025 things, but there's a lot of rumours currently circulating about next edition, and some of the things in that will turn your hair grey.
Next edition.
Yeah.
Let's not get into that sort of 40k cycle. Thanks very much.
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk characters. Bit weird because most of them are loyalist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so the first character is
Chris.
He is Narek Draeger. The Grave Walker is a lawless Pravian with a bit of a unique flair. He's got a Graviton Gauntlet, a Power Fist with Haywire, Mastercraft Bolt Pistol, and a Cortex Designator, which boosts Automata within 6 inches by +1 to hit once he has targeted an enemy unit. This is especially useful for upping the usual lackluster ballistic skill of Automata. His niche role fills well with Iron Circle or Castellax, allowing him to hold objectives and disrupt enemy lines. He has Stoic Defender as his Warlord trait, but...
actually, I think they've taken this out. I'm just looking at his rules here while you're thinking it. I think they've taken this bit out. Oh, they have. He doesn't get to take his nice guys with him.
That's it.
That was sort of... What does he even have the Warlord trait anymore? Oh yeah, he's Stoic Defender. Yeah. Where is it? So he's still got Stoic Defender. Yeah, it used to be that he could take a boyfriend squad. Now he can't.
Nope. Revenant's Pawn gets +1 to attack. Stubborn special rule. Within 12 inches of Cassian Traphouse Reborn. He Discipline and Flame.
Yeah.
Plus Black Shield. Oh yeah, he can be a Black Shield.
Yeah, +1 attack and stubborn when he's within 12 inches of Cassian Dracos Reborn. I think the thing is he's more of a Black Shields / Shattered Legion character.
Yeah, but he is. Yeah, but he's if you're playing a loyalist Iron Warrior, and you want to make it stand out, he's not a bad shout. An additional rule on the Graviton Gauntlet with the Power Fist. It's not shabby. It's not losing anything with that either. It's still Strength 8, still AP 2. It is regrettably still unwieldy, but that's all right. I think for 135 points, 2+ Refractor Field. He's not overly shabby, but you're not going to take him in a standard Iron Warriors army. You need to be specializing in something with lots of robots.
A loyalist robot army. That's what he is there for. Much. And probably Shattered Legions.
Yeah.
But let's not talk about Shattered Legions because that's a whole thing. Graham's just popped off, so I'm going to talk about Erasmus Golg, who is a Praetor. It's a little down in his luck. He's eternally loyal to Perturabo, but he never gets the promotion he's after. It's like that guy at the office who does all the work behind the big project and then someone else gets all the credit for it. He's got a mastercrafted Strength 10 Chain Fist, which is not terrible, Combi Melter, and he's got Hammer of Wrath 2, a Nuncio box, and he's got Default the Bloody Handed as his Warlord trait. 175 points. He's not really going to change your list. He's not going to spice up your army in any particular way. He's a bit of an oddball, I guess, because it's like, he's like
Master of the Legion.
He's fine. He's a character. He's all right.
He does have a strength 10 AP2 armor baning. Weapon, which is
that's his chain sort of fist thing.
I mean, if you whack him in another squad of Cataphracti, he's gonna easily chomp through.
Yeah, he's
any sort of vehicle.
He's a nice choice.
Actually, that'd be. Can stats go above 10? I can never remember.
They can, yes.
So he'd be strength 11 armor bane on vehicles. So, and dreadnoughts, that's going to be super useful.
Yeah.
If you want the dreadnought killer.
I think he'd do all right.
Yeah, absolutely.
How would you want to know something really odd about him? He's not.
He was once.
He's not a traitor.
He's not a traitor.
He's not a traitor. He's not a loyalist. He can go in either side.
Well, that's a man that knows how to walk the fine line between.
He's in the fluff. He's absolutely dedicated to the Primarch. So I think it's just an oversight, and the fact that it hasn't been rectified since the legacies were published.
Copy and
paste. It's just like, I think it's a case of, well, we don't really care about the Iron Warriors, so.
No, it's more we don't really care about the legacies document. I think is probably.
Bit of both. Yeah.
I think. Would I take him for 175 points? I think Cataphract armor. Yeah, I would chuck him in a squad of Cataphracti because I think he can.
Yeah, I think he's an interesting character, but you might be better off with a normal praetor.
5 attacks.
Yeah. All right.
All right,
Graham. Do you want to take a look at Key of Valen then, our second?
Valen.
He used to be one of the go-tos really back in V1. He had some great rules, which they thoroughly buggered with in the legacies. Unfortunately, he used to be really good. He used to be like the go-to guy because I think he gave you re-rolls of 1 if you were behind a defense line.
He had a lot.
Some really cool rules. So what he's got now, unfortunately, is he's got Fear of Pain 6+, Battle Hardened 1, and an extra wound. And his offensive capabilities are limited by his Volkite Charger and no other weapon. He can't carry a Serpenta. His Power Sword, Aegeus, is decent. +2 Strength, Blind, Mastercrafted, and Breaching. Though it's not as potent as some other options, such as Rending. His Warlord trait allows him to charge after firing his Volkite Charger. It's generally considered weak, especially compared to other more powerful traits available. So yeah, he totally did lose a lot of his previous. Absolutely.
Yeah, you used to be able to. You made very good use of him, Graham, because you always, I had my unit, I was ready to charge in. Nope, disordered charge.
That's right. Yeah, he did.
And I'm like, caused me all sorts of bother with my Custodes more than one occasion.
It's a great. But like I said, just re-rolling 1s for your Iron Havocs behind your defense line. Perfect.
Yeah.
I think it was anything. Was anything in deployment zone? I can't remember what it was, but it was a great thing. And they just completely knacked him. Which is that kind of rule of anything that was good in 1.
Why have I
got mashed into?
I've essentially repeated myself there.
Okay. So overall, he's a loyalist warsmith, which is something. But he's Would you take him? I don't know.
Nope.
He is pretty underwhelming, and you're probably better off getting something else, to be honest with you. So
I just take a normal warsmith.
Yep.
I think you get more options of that.
Totally.
All right, Chris, do you want to tackle Persia? Should we let Graham?
No, you go. There.
Fair enough. You're still feeling crummy.
Yeah.
Graham's been under the weather this week, so we're just glad he is able to come record with us tonight.
Aren't we? The Lord of Iron is a solid but somewhat situational Primarch choice to Iron Warriors. Its Warlord trait side to Iron Warriors grants a helpful bonus for morale and pinning checks, allowing all Iron Warrior infantry to roll 3 dice to discard the highest when making these checks due to shooting attacks. This is especially valuable for keeping your gun line intact while forcing the enemy to make multiple pinning checks. He also gains an additional shooting reaction. Actually, all of them have given you an additional shooting reaction, so we know what phase they're worried about. Which emphasizes Iron Warrior's gun line playstyle has been somewhat more mobile, unconventional tactics. In terms of defense, he is tough. He has the Logos armor, which provides him with a 2+, 3+. He ignores night fighting and a free interceptor reaction. It gives him 6 strength 6 AP3 twin link shots that also benefit from the shred, pinning, and shell shock. Shell shock does -1 to leadership.
-1 to pinning tests.
Pinning test, that's it, yeah.
So yeah, or minus brackets, whatever it is, for pinning tests.
Yeah. Make him effective at thinning out enemy infantry. However, his melee profile relies on Forgebreaker, Desecrated, a massive strength 12 AP1 Thunderhammer that's mastercrafted but unwieldy.
Which is a real pain. Because another Primarch's just going to give you a proper hiding before you even get a chance to clatter them. We have got 3+ in run, but yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there aren't that many that are rocking around a 3+
No.
in Vun.
I think, it's, they're always going to go first and they're always going to beast you.
Yeah. Which is,
I think it's one of those things, like the irony, of course, is I think that Foebreaker is really good for, it's not, if a Fulgrim, not Fulgrim, Iron Hands Chappie.
Ferrus Manus.
And then Fulgrim gives it to Perturabo, who then makes it worse. Because I think it is an initiative for Ferrus Manus. So yes,
it does do Brutal 2.
Yeah, and
it does have extra shock 3+. Not so worried about that. But strength 12.
Yeah.
However many attacks, 6, 7 on the charge. But Brutal 2 at strength 12. I mean, that's tough for anyone to take.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Sucking it up a little bit with his 3+ is. I mean, if he was Lion territory, then yeah.
Yeah, but it's Lion. What's his name? Lehman Russ. They'll give him C and 2.
Yeah. They are the big boys.
True enough.
Right. Despite these limitations, Perturabo is an excellent force multiplier thanks to his Cortex controller, Master Automata, and Battlesmith 2+. So he can repair Iron Circle units as well as support Iron Warrior's strong vehicle-based forces, such as Dreadnoughts and other vehicles on 2+ repair. Not too bad. However, his army rule is a bit misplaced. While he can dish out considerable damage, especially with his Forgebreaker hammer, his abilities don't provide the same synergy with infantry or vehicles that some other Primarchs offer.
Yeah.
He's a bit more bigger warsmith, useful for controlling and supporting his forces rather than engaging in more aggressive or versatile tactics.
Yeah, he doesn't have that, bring him into the army and he boosts the whole army kind of rules, does he? Which is kind of typical of the...
That's kind of his thing, though. He's not, he is dispassionate about his...
His boys.
True enough.
He's not there to see all the guys through. He's just there to get the job done. So I can see it from both sides. You'd think that that would want to help, but
but you'd think that his rules would do a little bit more across the board, but they just don't really. So whether he's worth 425 points is why I think that would be what I would, or 460 if you're taking Forgebreaker rather. I don't know. He has got a Call of Signum, but you can get them a lot cheaper. And he got Warsmiths for a lot cheaper as well. So I'm not sure that I would go for him as a sort of auto include and Iron Warriors. There's better units.
Yeah, I think he's kind of a one where they were sort of like, what role do we want him to fill? We'll put down this as a temporary thing and then we'll come back to it later, and then the book got published.
Yeah, it doesn't feel spectacular.
Gulliman has a very specific role. Angron has a very specific role.
Yeah.
He doesn't.
No. Okay, fair enough.
All right.
next out of the bag, the Tormentor
Yeah.
Legacies unit. This was a really cool thing that they
Back in the day it was.
but unfortunately they absolutely knacked with it. 900 point monstrosity. So it's what his personal transport vehicle is, a Shadow Sword tank, of course.
Well, of course.
24 capacity transport, fully dedicated to Perturabo. The catch, of course, is you're going to take it in a game where you're already planning to spend roughly half your life savings. As the total minimum game size needs to bring it is 5,300 points. So obviously you've got to take Perturabo and this and some Iron Circle for the joy.
Yeah.
So yeah, total wow, 1,610 points. So if you took Mr. B has pointed out here, the Tormentor plus Perturabo, which you have to, plus a full one of Iron Circle, that would set you back 1,610 points on its own.
So chance to change, isn't it? That's
which is a minimum game size of 6,440 points, and probably not far off the cost of a Reaver Titan, I would have thought.
Yeah.
Points wise. If not, it's certainly it's two Warhounds and some change.
Yeah, I mean, it's not got a bad amount of stuff. A volcano cannon. How many heavy bolters is that? 4 heavy bolters?
Yeah, I think so.
With front
three
heavy 3 heavy bolters and 2 las cannons. So it's pretty, and a void shield.
Yeah. But hey, yeah. The real star of the show is a turret-mounted volcano. It's turret-mounted, is it? Volcano cannon. It's not fixed.
Yeah, turret-mounted volcano cannon. Yes, it's turret-mounted.
Oh, interesting. Because isn't it normally a fixed thing?
I believe so.
Yeah.
Shadow Sword. Let me pull it up.
The volcano shotguns is basically the D weapon one, isn't it?
So 74. Tormentor, turret-mounted volcano cannon.
Yeah, the Shadow Sword. It's not mounted. It's fixed.
So you'd have to struggle to get a model for this. Then you'd have to convert a fell blade.
Or you just take. There's the Bane blade got a turret. Yeah, just convert a Bane blade. You're buying a Bane blade anyway, so just hodgepodge the
volcano cannon.
Turret.
The volcano cannon onto the turret.
It's quite a long cannon, though, isn't it? If I remember rightly, it's got some length to it, as they say.
Yeah, I think you're gonna have to take the
hodgepodge. Yeah. That's a good word.
Yeah, you got to be doing some modelling.
Hodgepodge. That's nice, isn't it?
If you never used that before,
I have. I just forgotten it. It's one of those words that I've forgotten, and I'm going to remember to use hodgepodge much more frequently now because it's nice. It's got a nice ring to it.
It's going to take some effort, but yeah.
Okay.
I mean, nice. Just looking at the model.
What's the volcano cannon do? He says, asking an awkward question because he's got a dog in his hand. Just a euphemism for anything. I do actually genuinely have.
Yeah, which dog is that one?
That's Enzo.
Let me see. Volcano cannon doesn't have the stats on there. I wonder if it's in the. Yeah, probably not.
I think it's in the main Libra Starty spokes. Or mechanical.
I'm opening up the book. It is the volcano cannon is 120 range, 14 strength, 1 AP, destroyer 1, large blast 5 up, ignores cover.
All right,
large blast 5 inches, not 5 up.
Sorry, 5 inches. Yeah.
Okay.
So destroyer. That's basically where you
can't remember the new version of the rules now.
Yeah, it's armor penetration. You roll 3 dice instead of 1. Discard the single lowest dice, or any of the lowest dice in tied results. You use the total of the remaining dice to determine the result of the armor penetration.
Okay.
And then it also inflicts a glancing hit. When it inflicts a glancing hit or penetrating hit, I'm correct my memory here. D3 hull points of damage instead of a single hull point.
Sounds kind of right.
A non-vehicle, it's D3 wounds, I think. Yes. I'm probably
No, that sounds kind of right, actually.
Just pointing out, the Tormentor is only 800 points, not 900 points.
Okay. Oh, good.
On an extra 100 points there.
Oh, did I?
Nice.
Oh, sorry.
No, that's all right. Just
points.
you know, for the
Just keeping you in line.
yeah.
Okay. I typed. Yeah, just typed.
Just brings that down. That requirement for the.
I tell you what, I'd love to just have a Tormentor to have in a big army. So if we play a big apocalypse game, I could take it. It'd be one of those things that a collector of the army, I'd have it.
I did have one, actually. I sold it.
Mm-hmm.
So you can put. So it's got transport capacity of 24. So that's 12 Terminators.
Same as a Spartan, effectively.
Plus, well.
Yeah, but would you not take Iron Circle? Because I think he works better with Iron Circle. But then again, your Dominators get your Feel No Pain 6+.
I'd take Dominators every day of the week, I think.
Fair enough. Yeah, you got more.
Lot more wounds. He's like super bulky, isn't he? Like 5 points or something.
Yeah, their Primarchs tend to be a bit more.
Yep. Okay. Cool.
3 or something.
All right. Shall we? Okay. So, how do you fancy a list challenge then?
Right, very much. Always fancy this challenge, really.
Absolutely. Let's do it. Iron Warriors. Let's see if the master of the Iron Warriors, the show's very own Perturabo, can come out victorious on his own.
Seems highly unlikely now you've said that, just because you're the people that decide whether I come out victorious or not.
But we've always approached this with a fair and open-minded.
Just for the record, I would like to look at Mr. B's voting record, like they do in
the fact that before the show, when I suggested I would like to buy a model that was only available directly from Forge World,
yes,
there was some pushback on that because apparently it was unfair for people in Australia.
Correct. That's me. I've always got the Antipodeans at heart.
I have actually checked. You can buy it in the Australia Championship store.
So that's just so people know that's where we're at.
Australia's a big place.
Yeah.
So, somebody's living in New South Wales or something, and the championship stores.
But if we're now getting onto the can I buy it in internationally as opposed to a list I can buy?
Yes.
Then things are going to get interesting. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, fair enough. Just saying, when you get those letters in, don't blame me.
No one's written to me from Australia. That's fine.
Okay.
I am finding it. Mount Gravit, I think, is that the championship store?
I have no idea.
Queensland.
Queensland.
Yeah,
right.
Queensland. It's a big, massive store.
I mean,
sort of
one of their states is the size of the UK 4 times over or something. So it's a big old place. Anyway, let's get cracking then. So we're looking for, as always, in our list challenges, 3 very important criteria. The first one is the fun to play with. So how much fun you'd have rolling this army out. Also, though, it is a 2-player game, and how much fun your opponent would have facing this particular game. So we're looking for non-spamming of units, variety of units, that kind of thing. Something interesting for you to play with. The second thing is how well you've kept to the theme. So if, for example, you've done a list that isn't very Iron Warriors-y in this and comes somewhat generic, then that would be penalised. Whereas if you have leaned into being the Iron Warrior that you are inside, you would get some lovely points.
Not a single assault squad in my list. Just put it down the record.
Okay, very good. Well, and then lastly, the effectiveness. Thirdly, the effectiveness. So this is how, in today's modern battlefields across the meta, how would this particular list fare, or potentially against each other? And finally, how much would it cost you to buy this army today if you went online or travelled to Queensland to actually purchase the models required to make up this army? So we're looking for the cheapest here. So the idea is that for the cheapest cost, you have the most effective and themey and fun to play army possible. So quite a challenge, you'll agree. So who wants to go first then? Who's itching to unleash hell from the defense line?
I've got a pretty terrible list, so I think I might want to go.
When you say terrible, what do you mean by terrible? Because it can mean two things here. It can be
Ivan the Terrible.
Ivan the Terrible, who was terrible but effective, and you can't deny that. Or terrible, as in it's terrible and it's very bad at actually being.
Wayne Rooney is a football manager. Terrible.
That kind of.
It's Wayne Rooney at keeping a low profile in a house of disrepute.
Okay, very good.
Nice.
Let's hear it then, Mr. B.
Okay. Iron Fire.
Okay, good choice.
Just because we're taking a siege breaker, because you got two.
Yep.
No upgrades there. No upgrades there.
No upgrades, right?
An Overseer with 3 squads of Auxilia.
Oh, you have gone out on a left field limb. Okay.
Yeah.
So here's the thing, just as a interesting, is the Overseer, because I was looking at him the other day and thinking of him, is he a Solar Ox upgrade or is he
he's a Centurion upgrade?
Okay, fair enough.
That basically means you can take Solar Auxilia as
or militia.
Yeah.
So you can take up to 3 units of militia or Solar Auxilia.
Yeah.
Book's he in? Just
the new one.
The last one, yeah.
Beta Garmon.
Beta
Garmon, yeah.
Beta Garmon.
So it's a new Centurion upgrade. Comes with a chainsword and a bolt pistol, artificer armor, and you can upgrade that to a whip. I haven't upgraded it to whip because I'm not sure how I would model this for this thing. I know I could 3D print a whip, but I'm avoiding bringing in anything like that when I work out these things. Then we're taking a Warsmith with a power axe and a combi plasma. In my troops, I'm taking 2 Arquiters with Phosphex shells and Morbius bombards.
Very nice.
Because, 3 identical tactical squads with Artificer option on the Sergeant, Melter Bombs, Power Fist in a Rhino.
Okay.
Realistic. I should have put some trap balls on these, but I didn't think about that. And then heavy support. I'm putting a lot in heavy support.
Of course.
3 units of basilisks. Sorry, a squadron of basilisks with 3 of them.
Yeah.
And a squadron of Medusas with 3 of them. And then a Sikaran squadron with 2.
Right.
All infantry. It's all. So the plan is.
How would it work?
Solar Auxilia holding the back line, defending the basilisks and the Medusas and the Arquiturs. Pushing the tactical squads up front with their rhinos to essentially use as the guiding
markers,
things for the artillery, and the Sikarans following them up to sort of try and deal with stuff as they go up. So that's kind of the idea. Push forward with the tacticals, use the Solar Auxilia to hold the back line, and the Warsmith to do any repairs needed on the basilisks and Medusas.
I see.
It's absolutely terrible. Absolutely terrible. But
Mr. B, you and I have approached warfare in a very similar approach this evening.
Well, here's the thing. Who else has done Iron Fire?
This guy.
I thought you would both go Hammer of Olympia.
No, Iron Fire.
Oh, interesting.
So
interesting.
The Iron Fire shootout.
The Iron Fire fruit. Yeah, now that is interesting. That's the first time that I can think of that we all had the same right of war.
Yeah, I just thought it was more fun.
I think it's a bit more fun. All right. Well, I'll tell you what. I'm going to go next then to see how I master the Iron Fire. So what have I gone for? So I've got a siege breaker, as we talked about.
Yep.
No upgrades on him, obviously, because you don't need them. And he's from what he's going to do, I don't need to do anything else other than be himself. I did think about putting him with an assault squad because of the Phosphex bombs, and I thought actually, if you chuck your Phosphex bombs, they're going to return fire you anyway. So not really worth it. I've got a Herald in Cataphract armor with a Thunder Hammer. So yeah, he's going to come and do some business there. Actually, no, I beg your pardon, he's got a power sword, not a Thunder Hammer. But yeah, he's there to basically give a unit line, which is going to be my Praetors. And I've got a Praetor next. He's a Cataphracti as well. I've given him the Tyrant of Acapocalopolocothan, which is the one that we said was terrible, but he's going to be going somewhere, so I'm going to try and offset some of that. I've made him a Warsmith as well, so I figure that's pretty useful. I've given him a Paragon Blade, so he's going at initiative, but if he wants to, he could use the lovely, what's it called, Servo Arm, if he needs to, for some additional attacks. So yeah, he's basically going to be then going with my elite's choice, which is a Domitar, whatever they are, Dominator cohort.
What were your HQs again? Sorry.
So I've gone for Siegebreaker, Herald, and a Praetor.
Okay, cool. Praetor, yeah.
Yeah.
I was checking you got the Master of Legion.
Yeah, the Praetor's there, with the Warsmith as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, giving him the one that makes him fearless, but it doesn't mean he can be hoofed about. But anyway, I've gone for a Domitar cohort, and there are 7 of them. I've gone for 6 Thunderhammers and 1 Chain Fist. I figured you would spread it about a little bit in case we need to. And they're going to be going with the Praetor and the Herald. So that makes them a scoring unit as long as the Herald's alive. Praetor will be there making them fearless-ish, with some caveats, of course. And the idea being is that I'm going to put them in one of my heavy sport choices, which we'll come into in a minute. So pretty useful squad, the Domitar we talked about. Quite handy in a scrap. So they're useful against most things, vehicles or other sort of elite units. And the Praetor and the Centurion will be going at initiative with their Power Sword and Paragon Blade. So to try and slack anybody who gets any funny ideas about waiting and try and kill my lovely Terminator squad at initiative or higher initiative. And then I've gone for a Rapier battery. So 3 Rapiers with laser destroyers rather than anything artillery based, because the upgrade for one of them was exactly the same as the laser destroyers. And I'm going to put the Siegebreaker with the Rapier battery.
Okay.
So that gives the Rapiers ordnance and sunder on those guns, which also makes them strength 10 if I'm shooting vehicles or dreadnoughts with them, because they're strength 9 at the moment, which makes them pretty damn useful, I think. So yeah, they can do some damage. 2 shots each, twin linked. Pretty damn handy. And again, the Siegebreaker will help there. I was thinking about how does it work, sunder and ordnance. So ordnance is 2 dice, so it's not a reroll, but then you'd reroll 1 of those for sunder, just to make sure you're absolutely armor penetrating something if you need to. And then a little bit of a vanity. Why the Arquiter Squadron? So the same as you used to be. I've got 2 of these guys, but I have decked them out slightly differently. I've given them the Morbius thing, and I've given them the Phosphex shells. The Phosphex shells are AP2, which does make them quite rare in this day and age, with large blast markers being AP2. So there's something to be feared.
Yeah, that's why I went with.
They've also got 5 hull points, so they're quite resilient, but they are only armor 12.
They're a lot more resilient in this edition than they were.
Yeah, so they're not like fantastic, but they're not terrible in that regard. And again, you can put them in the troop choice, so that's quite cool. But yeah, they are only armor 12 front and side, 10 on the rear, which is a bit of a downside. Whereas most tanks are armor 13 at the front, so you've got to protect them. And then, weirdly enough, Chris, I've gone for 3 assault squads. Would you believe it? And the reason being, of course, is that these are the guys that are going to jump up the board to try and help with positioning the Iron Fire stuff. So the assault squad is basically bog standard assault squad, except I've given a Power Fist and Artificer armor, somewhat cheekily, to the sergeants to try and give them some survivability. I've given them all shrapnel pistols as well, which is a bit of an expense, but I figured, particularly with the pinning, if you've managed to bleed somebody's reactions and you're about to charge somebody, shooting them 10 inches away with a pistol in the face and potentially getting them to be pinned could be super useful. But again, it would be somewhat situational, because you want to make sure their reactions are all gone before you do that. So yeah, 3 of those squads, and they're obviously scoring, as well as the scoring unit that is the the Herald, who's joined the Domitar squad. And then I've gone for a recon squad as well. similar thing, except they're given a Nuncio box on them for positioning stuff. 2 things to do with this. I can either put them on an objective up the board and hope they survive. If it's one of those games where turn 1 onwards you need objectives. Secondly, put them at the back of the board and just use them as Nuncio box guys, or to hold an objective in my deployment zone. And again, I've given them shrapnel bolters because I think they're actually pretty cool. So yeah, full on Legion squad. So there's 9 guys in that squad, including the sergeant. And again, like I say, he's just got a power sword, I think. This is, I've given him a power sword just in case somebody comes up and gives him a little tickle. Not unsurprisingly, the fast attack part of the Iron Warrior's armory is somewhat bereft, i.e. nothing in there. And then for heavy support, I've gone for a Spartan with a flare shield and las cannons all over it. And that's basically where the Domitars, the Herald, and the Praetor will go in. And the idea is that rockets up the board to get ready to deal with anything nasty, dreadnoughts, elite unit, other warlords, etc. And then I've gone for 2 lots of Whirlwind Scorpiuses at 2 each. So there's 4 Whirlwind Scorpiuses ready to rain down hell upon anything. And again, with the Iron Fire, that means they're not scattering far. The Nuncio boxes mean they're re-roll. And I'm going to park all of that lot behind a defense line, because defense line does give you a 5+ save, cover save for tanks. So the idea being is the Scorpiuses, if I couldn't hide them, would be behind it. The Rapiers would be behind it, and so would the Arquiters. Slightly shorter range on the Arquiters, but that would also be quite a deterrent, I think, for anybody coming on and trying to, take your line. So a really strong sort of middle castle, if you like, with the assault squads and the HQ squad heaving up the board to grab objectives and cause bother where they can. So yeah, that's me.
That's pretty good.
Nice. Cool.
So yeah, it should flatten most things, I think. I mean, the Scorpius particularly would be good against las cannon squads. You might lose a Scorpius or 2, but you'd flatten whatever came, because that's 4.
Yeah.
I mean, that's potentially could be 4 shells on the same target.
Yeah.
All at strength 8, breaching 4+.
Nice.
So yeah, the Arctors are expensive, weirdly expensive actually.
Yeah, 120 quid.
Well,
you're talking just points.
Points wise, there are a lot more points than the Scorpius, which makes no sense to me. Because the Scorpius is an infinitely better tank.
They've always been they were part of that group of tanks that were just weird, like the Sabre and stuff, weren't they?
I mean, the Sabre's got its place, but there are other ones like this, like I say, that are just like don't really see the point at that point cost. I've kind of put them in for fluff reasons, because
same.
a lot of and artillery to
you can give them
most of the Iron Fire
phosphex to make them.
I mean, the phosphex is the one saving grace they got, which is that's pretty evil. I did look at the other sort of options, and one of them is a 7-inch blast, but it's like every time you shoot it, if you roll a 6, you can shoot no more of them, or whatever the turn is or something. So it's like that's pretty rubbish. So yeah, the phosphex though is terrifying to people. It still is. AP2 is terrifying. 3+, poison 3+, makes things difficult terrain or dangerous terrain once they're there. So you can wreck somebody's day if they get too close. And potentially, if you had the option, you could drive them forward as well and just start to shoot on the other side's front lines. So classic shooting army, but with a bit of a twist for the scoring units. Okay. What about yourself, Chris?
So, Iron Fire, obviously. Centurion with Siegebreaker.
Yep.
Nothing else on him. I gave him a boarding shield, 0 points.
Yep.
Just because, hey, look, it's cool. We then have a Cataphracti Centurion Delegatus. To give us the Master of the Legion, so we can get the Right of War. He just has a Thunderhammer.
Yep.
He is the Warlord. He has the Tyrant of Lysatra, because I want all those free
double shooting business.
All those free reactions. Yeah, basically. because that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
I have an elite squad of 6 Cataphracti Terminators, 5 Chain Fists, 5 Thunder Hammers, 1 Chain Fist. They have a Nuncio box. Yep, that's all those guys done. That's the end of my elite choice. I then have 2 10-man breacher squads, 1 melter gun, both with Nuncio boxes. That's the end of my compulsory troops choices. I then have a single Arcata with Phosphex, and then a squad of 2, both with Phosphex, because variation of fire patterns. Then we get on to the heavy support squad. I have 3. Yes, that's correct, ladies and gentlemen. 3 basilisks.
Return of the Basilisk.
Return of the Basilisk. And all 570 points of those 3 bad boys.
Okay.
I have my final heavy support choice is an Iron Havoc squad, all las cannons. Just ready
It's
to
tempting, isn't it?
cause all sorts of nuisance.
Would you put your Delegatus in there to give them the double shots back?
I think I would probably put him in. It's tempting,
Yeah.
but I want to give the las cannons Sunder.
They come with something anyway.
That's not maybe not reading the rules. So
Ooh.
no, I think he'd still roll with the Terminators and just they're gonna be walking across the board, so they're gonna be shot at a lot.
True enough.
And I don't want to have to pay for their shooting reaction every time.
Yeah.
I then
felt a bit short of points and thought there was something sticking in the tail.
2 more things. I have 2 more things. I have a Typhon.
Oh,
yep.
Because themey and made by the big man himself. So it was appropriate. And then, from the mists of time, I have taken a Void Shield Generator for 75 points as a fortification.
Oh,
what?
He says.
Can you? Such a thing exists.
It is still.
It does.
It's
Yeah,
in the
you
legacies
can.
document.
Yeah.
75 points.
That's
nice.
Yeah.
It's only a 6-inch little bubble.
It used to be better than that, didn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. But so this advanced, so it's an advanced reaction to use Void Shield Envelope. Hence why I don't want to be wasting points on my Terminators getting shot up if I can help it. The advanced reaction may be made during the shooting phase whenever an enemy unit targets a friendly unit that has at least half of its models within 6 inches of a friendly Void Shield Generator, as in all of my Basilisks, or my Iron Havocs, depending on which way I want to go. Basically, just going to sit on the back line. Excluding friendly units that include any models for the monstrous creature, Knight, Titan, Super Heavy, or Flyer subtypes, which neither my Basilisk nor my Iron Havocs do. Before the active player resolved any hits rolled, the reactive player may choose to expend one of their reactions for that phase to have the unit targeted by the shooting attack gain the Shrouded 4+ special rule till the end of the shooting phase.
Yeah. Right. Is that once per game only?
It's an advanced reaction. So
if it doesn't say once per game only, then you can use it indefinitely, I believe.
Counts as it doesn't say.
Yeah, so you can use that in the shooting time.
Yeah. I thought a little bit unusual, a little bit different. Shrouded 4+ is super useful, and if you can be sensible about positioning it on the board, you can have a couple of options as what to.
I can see a sudden mad rush for Void Shield Generators coming up. 75 points for a 4+.
75 points for a Shrouded 4+.
Yeah, I mean, you have to use one of your reactions, but you would use your reactions anyway.
And it's for the rest
Shrouded.
rest of the turn as well. So
it's not just one thing that it reacts to. Anything else that shoots it afterwards, it's got Shrouded 4+.
Yeah.
That's going to get nerfed, and I can see that. Wow, that's a great find.
Yeah,
There was a void shield generator piece of terrain, wasn't there?
that's what I was looking for earlier to see if I could
Yeah,
find
it's been out of production for absolute
yeah.
yonks.
So where are you going to buy this from? Don't tell me the Queensland store of Games Workshop champions.
Yeah, it's a tricky one. I will admit. I think some creative license would have to be taken.
Third-party seller, potentially. I mean, that's okay.
Seller,
yeah, you're gonna have to find someone who can.
Yeah, or an STL or something that looks like a void shield generator, not a pirated copy of the void shield generator.
Let's have a look. TT Combat might be your guys.
All right.
Yeah, I mean,
I like their wooden terrain.
It doesn't specify how big it is, so
it was. I guess it was kind of like a bit taller than.
I'll tell you what. Why don't you make it 4 foot long?
Exactly.
What a TT Combat,
and then it's like the whole deployment zone would be covered at that point.
Well, because like the Hammerfall bunker, for instance, I don't know how big that is in comparison. So
that's short and stocky.
So,
that's sort of like short and stocky. I don't see anything on the site that's leaping out as being.
We might have to give you some. It's a good idea, but can you execute it? Is the question.
How big? I
mean, to be honest, isn't there a? Oh, actually, wait a minute. There is something I can think of that might do the job. It depends if it's still in production, because the problem with terrain at Games Workshop these days is that it goes out.
Aren't in charge.
Yeah,
it's not so much that; it's that as soon as it's out of stock again. Here we go.
For me to purchase the actual kit on eBay, I'm looking about £200.
I'm gonna send you in WhatsApp a link to a piece of terrain that you might be able to use as the basis to do something with.
But I think there are
the Vox Antenna and Auspex Shrine.
So look at the size.
You might be able to do something with that.
The kit. Yeah, I think you could probably make something out of that. Yeah, absolutely.
There's also a sort of landing pad thing. Maybe you could pop them on top of that. That's another £47.50. But yeah,
you could make something of
would work
of equivalent sort of.
Yeah, I'd probably start with that.
You could sort of hodgepodge them together.
I mean, it's sort of this. So there's one. I'm looking at one on the internet, and it's roughly the same sort of size as a knight in terms of girth. So
height-wise, I think that can you destroy it?
Well, it is yes, it is, because it's got hull points. It's got a
it's a structure that you can blow up. So
but I was just thinking, if it's something that you not necessarily able to essentially destroy, maybe it doesn't matter, and you can use something more along the lines of a Star Wars style design. Because as long as it looks the part.
I think that's just
interesting.
It's probably a little bit more Imperial Fist than Iron Warrior in terms of its purpose, but for
they
what
blow up buildings, don't build them.
Yeah,
it's a modelling project.
But I think
I like it.
It's an unusual thing you don't see. So
in the lore, they have this cool thing where they basically got rhinos that sort of fold out, and sort of turn into sort of.
I wish they made those. They turn into like mobile fortifications, don't they?
Yeah, and it was like that looks awesome.
So basically, the big guns doing what the big guns do, and then the breaches and the cataphracti strolling up the board, getting those sweet objectives.
Okay, well,
and failing miserably, because they'll all be dead by the time
they will be all be dead. So let us go with.
I'm relying on a lot of.
First one, fun to play with and against. Who's taking home the crown today? Mr. B seems like an exercise in suicide, but that can be interesting.
That can have its own value.
Mine's all about. I'm just gonna have fun with it.
Yeah, which is always.
It's not. It was. I thought I'm going to make a list that will be fun. It's just straight up artillery. I don't think it's going to be effective. I think personally the most effective is it's a tough one because you've both made very good lists.
Oh, we haven't got onto effective.
We're not on effective.
Oh, sorry.
We're on
fun to play with. Fun to play with
and against.
Okay. Fun to play with. I'm going to go with Graham. Those assault squads are going to be fun.
Okay.
There's no two ways around it. Assault squads jumping up. With that other stuff. I think that's going to be fun.
It's the little tickle behind my knee is the humble assault squad.
I'm playing to my audience.
That's it. You know the crowd.
Well, there was this argument. I did something. Put them in rhinos or whatever. But I thought, actually, do you know what? They would have had assault squads. They're a siege breaking army. They're not. They're not a defensive army.
Exactly. It's different. It's not what you expect for Iron Warriors. You don't expect assault squads. And I think that those guys charging up the board is going to be fun.
Yeah.
And stuff blowing up around them. But I think Chris is very similar in that regard.
That
kind of creeping barrage that you've got going on there.
Yeah, that's got
really interesting.
Mine sort of relies on the void shield being fairly static, but yes.
Yeah. It's a tough one. I think just because Mr. B's would be a slaughterfest of you just taking models and models dying.
I'm just going to be taking models.
I think that could be quite good fun.
I think if you approach the game knowing that's going to happen, knowing that I'm just chucking bodies to,
Yeah, I'm doing the classic Iron Warrior thing. Yeah. I mean, I would probably, just send the militia up first just for lols.
Yeah.
Rather than then save the lovely Marines for later. But yes.
I mean, that's an option.
Yeah.
I mean, my whole thinking was I use them to defend the back line. But
that void shield is going to be fun, and that'll raise an eyebrow. It's really hard to pick between those two armies, to be honest.
They're all pretty good. We've come at it with the same thought in mind, but slight variations on the theme, which is.
I think because I'm slightly more power gamey, I'll probably have more fun playing Chris's, but that might just be just me.
That's fair.
See how I quite like that.
See that void shield generator thing would be quite cool.
It is gonna annoy people, but I do. If I was approaching it with the mindset of I don't care about these models, then I think just watching the copious amounts of squishy humans getting removed would be.
That's always good.
It's always entertaining.
Yeah, totally.
So I would get Mr. B's vote just for that.
So
one apiece.
It's a tied round. Yeah. Okay. Theme then. Who's most met the theme?
I would think
this is tough as
yours more than because yours does the job more effectively than mine or Mr. B's as a siege breaking army.
Yeah.
Mine is a slow procession up the board, which is not necessarily what you want from a siege breaking army. That's more once you've kind of got into the castle and then you're just gunning down people in the street kind of vibe.
Yeah.
Whereas getting the artillery on target. Absolutely. I think yours does it.
I think if I was going to do so, I'd model these guys with try and do a sort of smoke grenade effect, some green smoke or something, just so because that was like they'd be going there to sort of say, hey, fire here.
Absolutely.
Danger close.
Yeah. I think yours just does it. It does the effectiveness and it does the theme.
It is quite an effective army. It's one I wouldn't mind giving a try at some point, but it isn't hugely friendly. It's going to rip through models.
Well,
yeah, it's hard to choose, but I do have to agree with Chris there. Graham's might just.
I mean, yours, Mr. B, does appeal to a certain part of the Iron Warriors.
Yeah. The decimation.
Yeah, absolutely. Because decimation will definitely, it will be 9 in 10 guys coming out as opposed to 1 in 10 guys getting whacked. I don't know what the
reverse decimation is. Yeah, but yeah, you're right.
But I think if I'm thinking of how the Iron Warriors would work as a real army, I think Graham's just kind of matches that theme slightly better.
Okay, Cool.
Yeah, I
so
think
one,
so.
one for me. And what about
One.
cost then? Yeah, one.
Okay.
So, anyone else over £1,000?
No.
No,
Okie dokie. Well, I'll ask me out.
mine was surprisingly cheap.
Mine was cheaper than I thought. Mine was
What was yours?
£817 exactly. Now I have from that left over 9 Marines and 10 Solar Auxilia.
We're doing this as well. Excellent.
Yeah, I've used as my Warsmith, I've gone with a a Warp Smith from the Chaos Space Marine range.
Oh, that's a good idea.
And I've taken I costed in a melee weapon upgrade to make the Overseer from one of the leftover Marines, because he needs a chainsword and a bolt gun, and that's
Okay.
how I get it. For the Basilisk and the Medusas, I've just used the Solar Auxilia, because that's what you did, Greg,
did,
when
yeah.
you built your army. You used
Totally.
the Solar Auxilia. So it's the model. It's just a Solar Auxilia version.
Yeah.
But it is relatively simple. Actually, I've told a lie. That's not the price, because you know what I forgot to factor in?
Look.
Rhinos.
Ooh.
Very nice.
I have forgotten to factor in the rhinos. I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, yeah, this is really cheap. That's because I haven't paid for rhinos.
I'll do it.
So a rhino, what we got? £32.50 for a Deimos pattern rhino. So where's the calculator? £32.50 times 3. So that's like nearly another £100 plus £817. I actually come out £914.50.
Still
I'm
generally
glad I
cheaper
spotted
than me.
that.
Breaches, man. Breaches are just, until they
Yeah.
do a plastic set, you're paying £92
Top
for
dollar.
10. And it's,
It's one of those annoying things. It's like you look at the things that people are making online, the 3D printed and sculpted type of stuff, and you're like, I really wish Games Workshop would just come out with an upgrade kit for the Mark III kit to make those.
Well, weirdly enough, I got mine at unbelievably £914.
Nice.
But that is like with a padding for upgrades, which I
So
did.
how much was that again, Graham?
A padding. Padding for.
So-
I mean, you're still under us. So
Sorry, what was the cost there?
It was, well, let's say 915. But it was so it was actually surprisingly cheap, this army. So
We
what I
were
did was
very
I
cheap.
used the 10-man Cataphracti squad.
Mhm.
I only used 7 of them in the Domitars and used the other 2 as HQs. So assuming that I can use the upgrade sprues to make them look
Yeah.
a bit different. But again, you're hitting mistakes. I'm going to have to buy servo arms and stuff. So it could be more expensive. There was nothing that was kind of crazy money. What was probably the most expensive thing is what was that? 220. That was the Scorpions. Scorpiuses, 4 of them.
Yeah.
Still not hugely expensive. I mean, because they're plastic now, right? What else? Let me just get my thing and working out again.
Yeah, Scorpiuses are a lot easier to.
Spartans, 57 pounds. Defense lines, 50 quid. The recon squad, I was just going to use a normal Mark 6 squad for. So I had those left over. The Arquiters, I think, were expensive, but they're plastic as well.
They are. But
No, the Arquiters are resin.
Well, they're 120 quid a piece.
That's right. Yeah, so I've got 2 of those.
20 quid each.
Yeah, so I got 2 of those, so they weren't cheap.
Yeah, that's where a lot of my money went.
Assault squads are quite cheap because they're plastic now. And the rapier batteries weren't cheap either. But yeah, everything else was kind of doable in the realm of plastic.
How much was yours?
I've gone for 915.
£100. I'd miscosted the basilisks to say that, so I was 1,015.
1,015.
So if I could get plastic breeches, I would have won.
You would have totally won. Yeah. But anyway, Mr. B, you can take that because I'm not sure that my upgrade costs are accurate. Very good.
Okay, so
That was fun.
Graham's gotten
One.
Yeah, he's won. Yeah, Graham's on.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well,
as things should be. I feel glad that I didn't win this one. If I'm honest with you, I felt like it would have been a chemical shower the moment we finished recording. And
it's late now. Who wants to do that?
The thing is, the last time it was until pretty much the launch of the second edition. Our biggest downloaded episode was and remained pretty much until the end of first edition, the Iron Warriors episode. So
Yeah.
I don't know what that says about the people who listen to our show.
Fine set of people who have listened to the show. That's what it says.
Yeah. So
taste and quality.
It was. It's. I think they're probably one of the more interesting armies now because I think they've lost stuff, but they come out at the same time not actually having suffered too much in the transition. I don't think
broken even. Right? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think any of their units have come out and have been like, oh, they used to be so much. I think the characters, but they're all legacies.
Yeah. I mean, they never were strong on characters, to be fair. Apart from Cleo Allen. The rest of them were all a bit meh anyway.
I mean, of course, all we ever hear from players of the Iron Warriors is where's
our characters?
Where's our characters? Where's our Praetors? Where's our anything?
Leviathan.
Yeah. Well, I think that they probably are one of the easiest armies to really do something with because the units that they do have are
beating them's not terribly difficult. I mean, the only thing is the hazard stripes might put off people, but
they
are pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
It's more that you can you don't have, I think you've only got one specialist resin kit, which is the Tyrant Siege Terminators, as you put as Ravo. Everything else can pretty much be made from plastic stuff with an upgrade sprue. I think the only one you're going to have to worry about is Thunderhammers for the Dominators.
Yeah, and again, that would be you'd have to go third party for that.
I suppose you've got the what do you call it? You've also got the Iron Circle. I suppose that's a
that's another one. But yeah, I think they're a good fun army. The rules are effective. The units they have are effective. They've got a nice synergy between their warlord traits, their advanced reaction, and their rights of war, which very few armies have. Mm-hmm. So they kind of stack up nicely.
Yep.
Cool. Okay.
Yes.
All right. What about then? Yeah, go on. Before we go, as it's Christmas, predictions for next year. I'll throw my hat in the ring because I've been interested in this week. New edition. There's lots of people talking about a new edition going with the Warhammer-esque release cycle of every 3 years. What do you think? Do you think we'll get a new edition next year?
I don't know. I mean, when was the last time that they revised Lord of the Rings?
And that's coming out for it. That's got a film tie-in this year as well.
Yeah, well, I mean this is my point. Would they have? Are we a game like Lord of the Rings where it's on a longer cycle? Because I don't think we're a rapid release game. We're not getting a release every single week. Like 40K tends to get something very quickly. Age of Sigmar gets something very quickly, very frequently. We're on a more, I don't know, we seem on a longer term schedule. Yeah. Has the edition had enough releases that, I don't know, it's a tough one. It's like, are we in a position where it makes sense to upgrade? Because it feels like they've still got so much work to do on everything.
I personally don't see it. I don't think there's been enough longevity in this edition yet to make it, for them, worthwhile, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because I don't think they're going to, churn out a load more rule books, but also they're going to then churn out a load more rule books for stuff that is pretty fresh still, and generally pretty good nick. There aren't any really big problems that need to be addressed. A new edition that solves.
It would be nice to see it would be nice to see a 2.5. I think we could do with a decent errata to address some of the issues we have. Maybe rebalance a few things, like flyers, for example. They're a great unit in the game. We're about to get a plastic flyer, first time in Heresy.
Yeah.
Is it going to sell well, whilst it is going to get shot off pretty much by a bolter squad every time it comes on the board?
Yeah.
So I don't know, that's maybe being silly, but
Mhm.
there are like the Solar Auxilia list kind of needs a rewrite. It's a mess.
I mean, the fact that there are still armies that are PDF downloads as well,
Yeah.
like Militia, Demons of the Ruin Storm, they are still just PDF documents. Whereas, you would think at some point there would be more than we've had anyway in the drips and drabs of certain books. We'd have something a bit more thorough for them.
Gotcha. So you think that the people are being a bit
I think it's
wish listy, maybe?
Wish listy, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Maybe.
Could be wrong, but I just don't.
Yeah,
So
kind of
for
weird.
all the kind of, you've just released Imperialis, which ties into Heresy, which is under the Heresy banner.
Yeah.
And you're still having to get a lot of groundwork done under that. There's still loads of stuff for Heresy that they said would be out. That isn't. We're still waiting for things like plastic breaches and stuff like that. And to then go into a new edition when you haven't sort of fulfilled what you said was going to be out this time round, it feels a bit weird.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree. There is a lot of things.
I think we will see something happen next year. There's a lot of talk of something happening next year.
Okay.
There's a lot. I mean, there's just so much talk about it. What could it be? Could it be maybe a new box set?
I mean, there was talk. Somebody was talking. I don't know. Again, just rumor and wild speculation. Somebody was saying something about salamanders and iron warriors or something.
I've heard that. Yeah.
No idea.
I mean, I think if you're going to do it, what we know from like the 40k releases, you tend to get a new box set refresh more often than you do apart from 40k, a reset refresh.
Well, I think they had that with what's the one I'm looking? Lord of the Rings. I think Lord of the Rings had a new box set without changing edition.
I think, and also it moves the story along, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I could definitely see a new box set. Maybe they've got. They've done Mark III, they've done Mark VI. Are they going to do Mark
II?
Well, I was thinking Mark IV.
Yeah, I mean they've got the models for them, haven't they?
Yeah, they've got the standard Mark IV right now, but they haven't got. They revised.
Just give me my War in the Webway book. That's all I want. That's all I've wanted for 8 years and 11 episodes. Is just want my goddamn War in the Webway book.
Well, they'll do that, and then 2 weeks later they'll bring out a new book to tone down all of the custodies.
Oh no, they'll just do a new FAQ to immediately.
So that was the last issue. You had to buy 2 books from the custodies, didn't you? There was the original book, and then there was a reprint of the rules.
Yeah.
Because they
and a
so
PDF. And
it was a bit of a. The custodian had a bit of a
internet.
As I said, there's so much talk of something coming.
Yeah,
maybe something is coming.
Maybe we'll get the Emperor.
Maybe. I think if we ever get the Emperor, it'll be like the very end of whatever.
Yeah, it'll be the last thing to do. Cool though.
I mean, we've got a
demon. We haven't got all the demon.
If you look in the notes,
Primarchs, have we?
No. And I think Emperor's Children have got an army coming out for 40k. Maybe they'll do a Fulgrim Transfigured or Demon Prince Fulgrim that will cover Heresy as well. Maybe that's going to be the case. But we've given us
Forge World Fulgrim.
We have,
yeah, we have. But maybe we'll get plastic. I mean, we've got this image here, the roadmap that they published in the thing. It's a bit small in the thing, but they said still to come. The Mechanicum continue to deploy across the battlefields of the Horus Heresy. Other factions
That'll be
waiting.
plastic
and
Theoses, I think.
tanks.
Will come.
They
Plastic
said
Cadillac, sorry.
2025. They said we'll get something new every month, and then it just says tanks.
Yeah.
So
What tanks haven't they got already?
Well, the Arquita for a start.
Sakaran variants.
Scar variants, plastic
I-
Krios, because they've
they-
got plastic Krios in Legion Imperialis, haven't they?
I think if there's something that's Rhino chassis or something Spartan chassis or Sakaran
chassis.
chassis,
Yeah.
they're gonna want to get those out of resin because they are extra stock. They're extra stock keeping units that they don't necessarily need to have that are more complex and more expensive and to deal with.
Sakaran Omega is temporarily out of stock.
Maybe that's a
So-
thing.
Maybe
I
there's
can
a
maybe
single
we'll,
kit for the variants.
And
Yeah,
there's,
maybe
like say, a Legion Imperialis version of them already.
Yeah.
Plastic. So yeah.
I honestly think if we've seen it in Legion Imperialis, it'll probably come to.
Yeah, that's my feeling too, actually.
And yeah, so I think we'll see something. Other factions lurk, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. What does that mean? I mean, that's probably custodians.
Sisters of Silence.
Yes, this is it'd be great. To, actually,
really
yeah,
need some TLC
they
and have
absolutely.
done for.
I mean, they've got 2 kits really,
Yeah.
and 1 upgrade set
And now they're not
and a character.
and now they're separate from
Custodians.
Custodes. They
Mhm.
definitely need some more to help them, because if you want to make them a more than just a 2 squad kind of,
That's right. Yeah, you need to crawl plus
you need to
her
roll
squad
plus her squad, yeah,
and the
you know.
Dune transporter, and that's
Yeah.
it.
That's it. 3 model, 3
Mm.
squad army. So they definitely need a little bit of love.
Okay.
Probably
Very
more
cool.
than most, I would think, actually.
Yes, they
Now
definitely.
that we've got the squishy human rules out
Yeah.
of the way.
And obviously,
robots.
I would definitely like to see. I think the Calicum, they're going to see more of them. Solar Auxilia, probably more of them. I'd hope to see an Aurochs.
Plastic
Yeah.
saber. What do you think?
Yeah, definitely like to see that. I think the problem is they've got 4. Is it 4 main factions? No, it's 3 main plastic lines in the factions, right?
Yeah.
But there's sort of so much missing from all of them to make, especially the Mechanicum and the Solar Auxilia,
Yeah.
to sort of make a fully fledged army
mean,
that is easy to.
Doing that list challenge last month was just like, oh, what can I get in plastic? Oh, I can get 3 of the things that I want in plastic. Everything else is resin for mech. They do need to be brought into.
Yeah, they've got some sort of core
Just-
troop choices and
Yeah,
what have you, but that's about it.
The stuff that actually makes the army what it is still hundreds of pounds of resin, which is less
Totally.
than ideal.
They are
That's-
the new oligarchs army.
Well, they always were, really.
That's
Yeah.
true.
They just haven't they haven't shifted into eco-friendly
It's fine.
energy.
Yeah, they're still in the 1%ers.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's it.
it'd be nice. It will also be nice to see some of the super heavies come to.
I think they need to do something about the rules for super heavies first.
Yeah,
'Cause, I mean, they've just
I mean-
disappeared from the scene. I mean, nobody
Yeah.
takes them.
no, I think what they need is not new rules. They need repointing.
Yes, I agree. Yeah, they're
If-
just too
if you-
expensive.
If you cut them by 100 points, I think suddenly they become
200. I mean, some things at 750,
150.
making them
100
550 wouldn't make them overpowerful. I don't.
Yeah, that
150 to 200 points, and I think we would see I think they would actually become.
Yeah, you might take them then, but like the moment they're a third of your army, well,
stupidly expensive. Yeah, they are.
Yeah, they are.
and they never ever pay their points back.
What about a plastic mastodon? That's what we all want, isn't it? That's
Plastic
That's-
Thunderhawk.
Plastic thunder. Always the dream.
Well, I mean, they've already
Extreme.
done that in Imperialis, haven't they?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a tough one because there's definitely ways I want to see stuff happen, but
Okay.
Just going through the
So-
things that are resin still for Heresy on the GW website, and literally 90% of it is still
Out of stock.
is temporarily out of stock. Yeah,
I obviously the thing with resin is it's very labor intensive
in comparison to plastic. I guess.
in
I
comparison.
know. It's just,
But obviously the new factory is still being outfitted.
established. Yeah, I mean,
So okay, to
Fire
wrap up.
Raptor, Storm Eagle.
Yeah, all the classics. Plastic, one of them.
Yeah, that'd be nice. I mean, javelins.
Javelins. I mean, they're popular.
The javelin, the finest of all the fast attack choices.
I think that's what we agreed on. But that was in the last edition. Sure.
That wasn't the last edition, but still.
Yeah, but in the same sort of all of that. All right. Would we see the choices used more if they were plastic?
I think so. Because I think things like javelins, for example, people are sort of proxying sort of plastic land speeders from back when, and they're just not the same.
Yeah, because we could end up with actually a lot more interesting lists, a lot more variety.
I mean, a javelin currently is, if you could get it, which you can't, because it's sold out online. Not temporarily sold out online, by the way, just sold out online. It's £72.50. You know,
and you're going to want 2 or 3 of them.
Yeah, you don't want more. Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
If you could have one, if you could have one kit turned into plastic next year for each army, what would it be? The three main, the Mechanicum, Solar, and
Starbeams.
Yeah.
One kit into plastic. Just have a look now. What's currently resin?
I think I'm going to go with I think probably the Omega or the Arcus.
Yeah, that's a pretty good shout. For me, either the Angel's Tears or the Dawnbreakers for Blood Angels.
Gone specific.
Yeah, I know they said that. Actually, that's pointless because they said all the Legion Spirit stuff will never be resin. Any of the tanks that are still plastic, any of sort of still resin. I think.
Plastic Custodes tank would be lovely.
Yeah, I mean, it would be absolutely beautiful, but it's not as good as it once was. And I mean, give me the
Telemon plastic.
Telemon plastic, which you see. Give me the transport and make it an assault squad again. 8 years, 11 episodes. Then yeah, that's where we're at.
Teleport transponders being free again.
Oh, what a time to be alive that was. What a time to be alive.
I think I kind of have to agree. I'd like to see the Punisher as a I'd like to see the Punisher as a new.
That's interesting.
As a plastic. The Sikaran Punisher. I think I would love to see that. For Solar Auxilia Aurochs, because it's just cool. And maybe I think for Mechanicum, that's a tough one. Because there's so much you want to see.
Krios tank, I think. Or
Krios.
The big
a multi-option Krios tank, yeah.
The other Thanatar. That's the one. That's fantastic.
Good shit.
He
One with the las cannon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be nice.
Strength 10 las cannon. Yeah, he's definitely worth an investment.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, gentlemen.
That's the dream.
That'll do for 2024.
There is a couple of news bits in there, so that's going to be interesting to see 2025. And first one is obviously FTSE 100. We mentioned there. Games Workshop are widely considered to be joining that in the next change of the which is interesting.
Come a long way.
So,
very successful business model that's kept on going even after the pandemic boost, which is interesting.
They kept it going.
I think they didn't do what the games industry did, which is they didn't on board or increase their capacities beyond their sort of ability to deal with it. They kind of kept, I think, the staffing there was fairly similar. They didn't go crazy.
Yeah, I mean the stock market loves it because they got no debt.
use the money that they then got from that to then build more factories to provide more stuff. So,
and I mean, obviously, it's a massive success story. It's a huge employer in Nottingham. So, but it's like seeing the kind of companies that have been coming out: B&M's, Fraser's Group, Vistry, and then Games Workshop's replacing them. It's interesting.
So they think in the last 6 months from June to December, profit for GW be 120 million.
Not bad, is it?
Not bad at all.
No, it's not bad.
Cool.
They're doing well.
Crazy.
Good. Gives us something to talk about.
Yeah.
And then obviously the Amazon tie-up, which I sort of put a link there. That the first thing we're going to get with that, the secret level.
Oh yeah, sort of animation.
And that's in a couple of weeks, I think.
Yeah, that'd be good to watch.
But obviously that's. I think some of the reports saying Games Workshop are going to earn £1 million for that episode.
Wow.
Which is ridiculous. 10th of December, so 6 days from the time of recording this.
Actually, talking about animation, weirdly, completely off topic-ish, there's a cool new Gundam animation on Netflix. It's worth Requiem for Vengeance. It's very good.
I do love Gundam.
It's well worth a watch. I thought it was really, really, really well done.
Mobile Suit Gundam is like and Voltron and that. I grew up on that, so
yeah, check it out. It's good.
Yep.
CG, all done in computer graphics, but it's 6 episodes. Not bad. Anyway, sorry.
So yeah, I think 2025 is going to be an interesting year. As I said, the talk of something coming.
Yeah, it's quite. It's quite. It's big,
It's like, are we going to be a Lord of the Rings where we're just going to get a new box set in a few years' time, and the rule set's basically going to be the same with a few balance changes? That seems to what happens. I think the only reason why they've gotten a new edition is for the new anime film.
Yeah, right. I see.
I think that's the only reason, because they're like, oh, people are going to go see the anime. They're going to want to play the game. Let's launch a whole new box set, a whole new edition. Does that? Am I making any sense there?
Yeah, no.
Yeah. I think that's kind of what their motivation is, if that makes any sense. So maybe we're going to be an edition like that, because it's like the old world. Are they going to redo that every 3 years?
Actually, that's due. Is that due next year? Like
the old world?
Yeah.
Well, that came out the year after Heresy, didn't it?
I'm trying if there's new stuff.
But they've got new stuff
anticipated for it.
The Empire.
So I mean, that's going to be a big chunk. That's a fairly serious release for GW.
Yeah, but it's like, are these games the kind of games, the games that we're playing, where let's be honest, we're mostly older men? Are we the ones that they need to sort of do this whole rapid release cycle for, of new rules, new edition, codexes shoved out? Or are we people who will spend a bit more money?
We're fine dining, and 40k is McDonald's.
40k is fun. 40k is fun. It's just a very different game.
I'm not knocking McDonald's.
It's a very different game appealing to a very different audience, and I think maybe that is the difference.
Sometimes I
don't think we are. I really don't think we are that kind of. I think it would turn more fans off if there was a 3-year cycle.
Yeah, absolutely.
Of Heresy, that is specifically Heresy. It's not a competitive game, so unlike 40k, it doesn't need a massive rebalance and reset every few years to sort out the creep.
Yeah,
I think that's often the problem with 40k and Age of Sigmar is they get to a point where we've had 3 years of releases, the rules are such a bloated mess, the power balance is so off.
You have to kind of hit the reset button to start again.
When was the last time we had a new rule set come out? An actual, well, I don't say rule set, but a new codex. We haven't. We just get little additions.
Yeah.
And none of it's unbalanced the game. So the game right now is what it is. It is stable. There are things I would love to see changed, but that could mostly be done by errata.
Yeah, I mean, I would. What would you change then? I would change no reactions for heavy weapons.
Yes, no, that would be good. It would actually make flyers viable. And flyers are a really cool part of the game, and we don't get to use them as much because they're a stupid choice.
Yeah, I think that.
I think that would then kill the. It makes Interceptor a lot less useful, if that makes sense. Because Interceptor on heavy weapons that are against deep striking units, for instance, things like that. That's their bread and butter. I think if you took that away from them, Interceptor becomes a lot less.
Or limit it to one interception per.
Yeah.
I think
it should be costed the same as it should go into the cost of the others.
And again, half the problems with the list are I don't think there are any bad units in the game. They're just badly costed.
Yeah, good point.
So if you could rebalance some of the point costs.
There are some bad units in the game.
Yeah, I think that regardless, unless you gave them away for free.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But yeah, if you could sort of pull the price of the super heavies down, maybe readjust the price of some of the tanks.
Dreadnoughts.
Work. Yeah, dreadnoughts, but that could be easily again. That's something that you could easily adjust with a limit per points.
50-point increase on a dreadnought, for example.
Yeah.
50 point.
You could still take them, but they would be probably more accurately costed.
I think you could if the Games Workshop wanted to rebalance the game, mix it up, get a bit more interest in it, an errata and a points sheet that just says all the points of this.
All right. Okay. Well, let's see what the next year next year brings us.
Should we close out the show?
Let's do that.
9. Crikey.
Goodness me.
Do you know what that means? At the end of next year,
a decade doing this.
We'll have been doing this for
10 years.
10 years. In fact, I think it'll probably
horrific.
be. It must be 10 years next November, I guess.
Something like that. I will check.
Something like that. Yeah.
We're still here.
Or was it the year after?
And there's a lot of others that have fallen by the wayside on that.
That's right.
Journey.
It's just us three talking to ourselves at this point. So
that is true. I think that's basically it. It's actually that we're not really doing this for anybody else other than the fact that we enjoy a chat ourselves.
Some people have just found other games that they prefer to play, and that's cool. There's like Geno 5.2. The guys were like, "Oh yeah, I like Heresy. I also like the Middle Earth. I want to talk about this lot." And it's not like they failed or anything. It's just that
just
not so interesting.
Sticking power to keep talking about Heresy.
Other things to talk about.
You need a certain amount of dedication to the cause, I think, to go through the thick and the thin. But yeah.
And then you've got Greg, who's constantly evolving in a way, but at the same time staying the same.
Has he learned radioactive breath yet? Has he got spines coming out of his back?
Spider senses?
He's got a chrysalis, which he's sort of making out of sprue goo.
Yeah.
Lord.
Like a butterfly.
Like an absolute butterfly.
Okay, cool. Let's shut the show the hell down.
That's right.
So,
right down.
Thank you very much for joining us for another exciting episode of Edge of Empire, where we covered the lovely Iron Warriors and list challenge them, and also some just general spitballing about what's going to happen next year. We should be able to listen to this episode again in 12 months' time to find out how wrong we were. So, in the interim, though, before that happens, please do leave us some reviews on iTunes. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. And Blue Sky, I think we're now on, aren't we, Mr. B?
We are on Blue Sky. We have individual accounts on there that sort of link to the things. I don't know I don't know what we're going. You know what? It's like the social media ground for whatever promotion. It's a bit of a, at the minute, we don't know what's going on there.
Cool. And of course, we're on YouTube, which we're probably going to do some more stuff on. All the links to these things are in the show notes. But please give our page a like on Facebook as well. If for no other reason than it lets us know that you're happy with what we're doing. And again, any feedback that we receive is really gratefully received. And if you want to contact us directly, and particularly if you're not happy about something, rather than putting it on social media, please give us some messages on a Facebook wall, or send us a message to the account or you can email us directly at info@edgeofempire.co.uk, particularly where people love to point out the things we've got wrong, which are probably manifest, and many in this episode, because that's what we do. If, however, you'd like to help the show out and keep the lights on in Edge of Empire Towers, that basilisk, that bastion of high-rise glory that overshadows the Tyne.
I mean,
you can see it on your way into Newcastle. With the Age of Empire symbol beamed onto the Tyne Bridge periodically. We have an affiliate link with Audible.
that would be something, wouldn't it?
That would be something, wouldn't it? So you can sign up to get your Horus Heresy audiobooks through them with a month's free trial. And after that, it's a mere £7.99 a month for a single audiobook. And all the Black Library books are there, so feel free to dig in. You can also become a patron of the show, and pop a couple of dollars in our tip jar, which would be great. And you can even buy us a Ko-fi, which is a way of just appreciating the show by just chucking us a couple of dollars, equivalent to what you'd spend on a cup of coffee, which again helps with our continuing quest for world domination and or attending an event next year. You can also help us out by going through the advert on our website, purchase your wargaming toys through Element Games. And we all have Element Crystals codes, which means that if you get double crystals and we get normal crystals, if you put this code in before you go to finish the checkout. Chris's is CHR211, mine is GRA2794, and Michael's is MIC440, page not found. And we also have affiliate links with the Outpost as well, another great little FLGS in Sheffield. So that's it, 2024 done and dusted. We're on to our 9th/10th year next year. And next year we'll be going through the Martial Civil War and Legion Auxilius. So please do give us your thoughts on this book, the reception for which has been poorly received, to say the very least. So controversy ahead, my lovely friends.
Where we thrive.
We love some controversy. Right.
We too.
Right, I'm going to bed.
Everyone have a nice Christmas. Have a nice New Year.
Yes,
All right.
yes.
And we will catch up with you.
See you in another year. What a year it will be. All right.
All right,
folks. Take it easy.
See you later. Bye.
Snuggles. Take care.